copyrighted program created by Rio Grande.
Portland Police calling all cars. Attention all cars. Broadcast 284 regarding a holdup. Be on the lookout for two bandits. One described as tall with receding chin. Number 2 is short, dark complexion, heavy build. These men are armed and dangerous. And that's all. Goals included.
It isn't important how many thousand miles your automobile has gone, but how many thousands more is it good for. And although I don't pretend to be able to predict the future of man, I can read the fortune of your car if I know the kind of treatment you've been giving it. I do say without fear of contradiction that if your car still is being pushed around on last winter's motor oil, still is wearing red flannel lubricant in the transmission and differential, it will eventually wind up on the operating table of some doctor of automotive surgery. Now is the time to put your car in perfect condition. Prepare it for the rigors of summer driving that lie ahead. And there's no better way to do that than with an overall Rio Check lubrication job. Your neighborhood Rio Grande dealer not only has the finest of materials that money can buy, but he knows his business from A to Z and gives each automobile the exact kind of lubrication specified by the man who made it. And so I make this suggestion, friends. Don't wait until something goes wrong. Have your car Rio checked so that nothing will go wrong. And it would be an excellent idea to have it done within the next day or two. Don't forget. For every moving part of your motor, inside and out, Rio check. And for real power and money-saving mileage, police car performance Rio Grande Crack. The gasoline preferred by those who drive the most and know the most about gasoline. The facts of tonight's program have been taken in the main from the confidential files of the Police Department of Portland, Oregon. It is our privilege, therefore, to welcome to Calling All Cars, Chief H.M. Nye of Portland.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure for me to be given this opportunity to speak to you as a guest of Calling All Cars. Law enforcement officers of the West know this program as one that contributes much toward the education of the public and the work the peace officer does in maintaining law and order. We are grateful for the cooperation of all agencies in the task of bringing home to the potential criminal the stupidity of embarking on a life of crime. We especially appreciate the practice of this program in presenting the work of the law enforcement officer rather than the activities of the criminal in our battle to suppress crime. Regardless of his brutality or his fancied cleverness, the lawbreaker will inevitably learn that crime cannot pay.
Flashing raindrops cut the cold December night as two men stood with drawn guns facing a trembling victim.
And if you make a move, we'll shoot first and take your dough afterwards.
Don't shoot me. You can have my money.
Thanks, mister. Just keep your hands in the air and my partner will take it.
It's all in his wallet.
Okay. Now you keep him covered. I got something for him.
No, don't beat me.
Shut up and keep your hands in the air. Well, that's it. Come on, let's see if we can find some more entertainment around this town.
I think we ought to wait for some guy to come along that's alone.
We're not waiting.
But there's a dame with this guy.
So what? If she squawks, let her have it.
You can take care of that.
Pipe down.
Stick your hands up, both of you.
Oh, Jim.
Hey, what is this?
You'll find out. And don't try to be funny.
Don't do what he tells you, Jim.
Yeah, that's being smart. Keep your hands up, fella.
You can't get away with this. We haven't any money anyway.
Oh, a fresh guy, huh?
Oh, this punk's got him some change. Where's your pocketbook, lady?
I don't have it with me.
Don't touch
I'll
her.
take care of her. After I teach you not to be so smart.
Stop it, Jim.
Phyllis, run.
Oh, you'll kill him.
Cut your face, you'll get the same thing. Hey? There. I guess that'll take care of you, too, sister. I told her to shut up. Come on, let's get going before the whole neighborhood starts to yammer.
I'm an old man. I'd gladly give you my money if you'll just let me go without harming me.
All right, mister. Hand over the dough and can of cheddar.
Here it is. All of it.
Come on, let the old fossil go.
Wait a minute. I'm not in any hurry.
Please, I beg of you. Let me go.
I'm going right now.
You're not going any place without me. How do I know the heel won't start yelling?
I give you my word I won't. Why, there's not a house for a half a block.
Oh, yeah?
They couldn't hear me. You have your car, and you can be miles away before I could get to a phone.
You got it all figured out, haven't you? Well, it just so happens I don't like your luck, eh?
No, please
Just
don't.
make sure you keep quiet.
No.
Well, you ready now?
Yeah, I'm ready. I just like to take care of everything. Doing things by halves don't appeal to a guy like me.
On the night of December 25th, Special Officer John T. Corcoran was making his rounds in the Laurelhurst district. Royal Court was still unpaved, and as he made his way along the Sudbury Boardwalk, his attention was attracted by an automobile parked in the muddy street.
Down went McGinty to the bottom of the sea, and he must be pretty wet for which. Well, I wonder what a car'd be doing here, not a house and half a block. If my flashlight will work in this liquid blessing from heaven, I'll have a look. Empty as a house with a banshee. Now, why would they be leaving it unlocked in the bargain? An overcoat on the running board, another one in the mud. There's something screwy about this. Hey, you there in the shrubbery. What are you doing? Come on, speak up. I'm an officer.
My car's stuck in the mud.
Well, what are you doing on this street? Do you live here?
No. I didn't know it was a dead-end street. I turned on my lights. When I saw there was, I stopped.
What made you drive in here without any light?
My battery's low.
Go on.
Well, I stopped. I got stuck in the mud. That's all.
I'm thinking maybe it isn't all, mister. You're walking back to that car with me, and I'm keeping this light on you, so don't be trying any funny business.
You got no right to treat a citizen this way.
Maybe not, but get going.
Say, what is this anyway?
You're tall, and you got a big Adam's apple instead of a chin.
I'll report you to headquarters.
Yeah, they'd be happy to see someone answering your description. Now stand still while I look in this overcoat. Oh, now, what are you doing with revolver shells in this pocket?
I use them for target practice.
All right, mister. Hey, where's your partner?
What do you mean, my partner?
I mean the fellow that owns the other coat.
Oh, that. That's just a spare coat I carry in the car.
Well, now, that's fine. Only I'm thinking you carry a spare partner, too. And what's more, I don't think he's so far away, so stand still while I look in your pocket.
Go ahead. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Hey!
There, that's something you weren't looking for. Now, let go of my feet.
Down you go, mister.
This is a gun in your stomach, Papa. Now turn me loose or I'll let you have it.
You mean it was in my stomach? No, we'll turn your wrist slow, like this. And now a quick jerk like this. Now you have no gun, and I'll break your arm if you move. While I'm putting these bracelets on you.
Twist my arm. You got me.
On the other hand, now get up on your feet and be quick.
All right. All right.
Get in front of me and start walking.
You think you're smart, don't you?
I do. When you're on your way to headquarters, I'll come back and get the bird that works with you.
Help! Help! The bull!
Shut up! Oh, so there he is. You behind those trees. Come out of your hands in the air in the name of the law.
Help! Help!
Shut up, or I'll crack your skull with my flashlight.
Let go my wrist to my partner will kill you.
You asked for it. All right, now you in the trees, come out, or I'll start shooting. Hey, come back here. Stop running, or I'll shoot you. Stop.
Answering the frantic phone calls of the neighborhood, terrified by the shooting, police cars rushed to the scene. However, the trail of blood left by the man Officer Corcoran shot was soon washed away by the rain. And after vainly searching the vicinity, Detectives James Tackerberry and Bob Phillips returned to headquarters with Officer Corcoran.
Well, Chief Jenkins has given orders to stay on this job all night if we have to.
That suits me.
And we can use every man in the department if we want to. You know, this is the first time we've had this pair on the run. We've going to keep them running till we get them.
And that was a fine thing I did when I let go of that monkey's hands to start shooting at his partner.
You did all right, Corporal.
Yeah.
You can hardly hold on to a man with a gunfight to take care of.
David, are you sure the guy you shot was the one you'd handcuffed?
And how? I hit him just as he was going into the trees.
Huckleberry speaking. Ray Task, huh? We'll send a squad car out to that address. When they check on it, have them phone in right away. Yeah, tell them to step on it.
Have they got a line on the car?
Yeah, it's probably a hot car, but it was registered under the name of Ray Task at 704 Harvard Street.
Yeah, but we still don't have a line on that.
Unless the one I had goes to a hospital to have my slug pried out of him.
Small chance of that.
There's just one angle. I've sent for a boy that got a good look at both of those mugs and worked in the filling station until they stuck him up and sent him to a hospital with a fractured skull.
Why hasn't he looked at the gallery pictures before?
He just got home from the hospital today. I hate to drag him down here tonight, but it's necessary.
And between the two of us, we ought to find the picture of an Adam's apple.
Yeah, if he's been mugged for the gallery.
Here's the cannon, boy. Oh, fine. Come in and sit down, young fellow.
Thank you.
You understand why we had to ask you to come here at this hour, don't you?
Yes, sir. I'm glad to do anything I can to help.
How old are you, Paul?
17.
Hey, just a minute, fellas. Just an idea that won't mean anything, but... Hello. Have them look and see if there's any record on Ray Task, 704 Harvard Street. Okay. Now, Paul, do you think that you could pick out the pictures of those men if we have them?
I sure could. I'll never forget them.
Officer Corcoran here believes he had the taller of the two bandits tonight, but it was dark. He could hardly identify him as well as you might.
Oh, yes, I could. When a fellow has a gun in my stomach, I'm not forgetting them.
All right. Now, according to the report, Paul, you were on duty in the filling station about 7 o'clock.
What can I do for you, sir?
Get back in there and keep your trap shut.
Oh, sure. But the boss took most of the money home
I
early.
tell you to shut up. I'll find out about the dough. Now, where is it? Come on, come on.
Well, it's all in here. It's mostly change. Hurry up, will you?
I told you to stay in the car.
But another car might come along.
So what? Get back there. I got something to finish here.
All right, but hurry.
Now, you. Get back in that corner.
What for? You don't have to tie me up.
I'm not. I'm just in a hurry, and I don't want to have to chase you all over the place. There. Maybe that'll take care of you for a minute.
Yeah, you'd be very likely to remember them.
It was the short one that beat you up.
Yes, sir.
And the tall one with no chin and the big Adam's apple drove the car.
That's right.
Excuse me, you asked for the record on Ray Task?
What? You mean we have one?
Yes, sir. He did 60 days a couple of years ago. Stole an automobile. His brother Earl Task got a suspended sentence. Have you got a picture of the brother? Yes, we've got pictures of both of them.
Wait a minute. Hold everything. Huckleberry speaking. Oh, hasn't lived at that address for 6 months, huh? Was his brother Earl living with him? Right, sir. Okay, we'll follow it up in the morning. Now, let's take a look at those pictures.
That's the one. That's the one that kicked me in the shins and then slugged me.
Now, wait a minute. What do you say, Paul?
That's the one that was driving the car. I'm positive of it.
You mean to say he was driving a car registered in his own name?
From now on, I won't be surprised at anything.
This is probably the brother that shot at you, Corcoran.
Sure it was. Yeah, look at this picture, Paul. There's the guy that beat you up, isn't it?
No. No, that's not the one.
Take a good look and try to remember.
No. No, I wish I could tell you it was, but I never saw this fellow before.
Well, that's that. Must be 3 of them.
There's only been 2 of them on every job they've pulled.
Yeah, and that stumps me.
Does me, too.
Well, is there anything else I can tell you?
No, I'm sorry, Paul. One of the boys will take you home. You've been a mighty big help.
Thanks a lot, Paul. You'll have the pleasure of identifying these babies in court soon.
I sure hope so. Well, good night.
Good night. Well, might as well go too, Corcoran. Phillips and I are going to stay here all night if we have to.
Could I ask a favor?
Sure, Phillips.
When you catch up with that guy that kicked my shins, I'd like to be the one to hold hands with him when we're bringing him in.
Throughout the night, all hospitals in the city were watched for the wounded bandits. Anyone answering the description was brought to headquarters and questioned by the detectives. Morning found them weary and still without any tangible clue.
Morning, boys. The chief sent me into your hand.
Sit down, Hall. They'll let you sit here and figure angles like we've been doing all night.
Yeah.
We're going out for a cup of coffee. Here's the test delegate card. When we come back, we'll start all over again and give you the... Hey, wait a minute.
What do you got?
Look. While the younger brother was in here on that auto theft rap, he was treated at the county hospital for a throat ailment.
So what?
That's a long chance that maybe he's been going back there for treatment.
So they might have his right address?
Oh,
Small chance.
get me to the county hospital in a hurry.
You couldn't get anything from the last place they lived? No. We've had men go over the whole neighborhood this morning.
Hello. This police headquarters. I want to know the last address you have on Earl Task. That's right. Hello, Turkey. Now, hold the line.
If we could nab the brother, at least we'd have somebody to work on. You think he's been working with him on the stick-ups? Well, he doesn't answer the descriptions, but you can't tell.
Hello? Yes. Move from Harvard Street to 381 East Davis Street. Thank you. Well, that's it, boys. Any mug that would be dumb enough to drive a stick-up car registered in his own name wouldn't think of a hospital having his brother's address.
And I'll bet his brother's nursing him right now. Gentlemen, may I accompany you to this little party?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, looks like nobody's here.
We're going in whether they open the door or not.
I suppose they don't live here. We can't break in.
Right party's behind that door. How do they know we haven't a search warrant?
Well, what do you want?
I want to speak to Ray Task.
No one here by that name.
Listen, we're officers. You know Ray Task and his brother, don't you?
Yeah, I know, but they went away 2 weeks ago.
Paul, you stay out here and keep the front covered. We're going in.
Now, wait, you can't do that.
Keep quiet if you don't want more trouble than you've got now.
Better have your gun ready. You know what a rat will do in each corner.
Shall I go upstairs?
We'll go together after we cover this part of the house.
Hey, Tigerberry, Philip, come here, quick.
What's up?
I saw somebody moving in the basement. There's a window on the side of the house.
Which way were they going?
Toward the front of the house. Here's the window.
Kick the glass here. I can't see him. Too dark down there.
Hey, what's that noise?
I see him now. Going through a window that leads under the porch.
That's lattice work on the side of the porch. You can see him from there. I'll go in the basement and cover him from the window we went through.
Okay, fellas, but keep behind something.
Okay. It's hard to see anything under the porch.
Well, he can't get out. All right, Task. Come out of there with your hands up. We've got your Task. Come out of there. We'll start shooting.
There he is, moving up near the front.
We don't want to shoot you, Task, but we'll have to if you don't come out.
I've got him covered from in here. Will I let him have it?
Task. I'm giving you one more chance. That's more than you ever gave anybody. Are you coming out? All right, fellas, give it to him.
Don't shoot again. You got me. You got me right this time.
Mortally wounded, the suspect was rushed to the emergency hospital. Shortly afterwards, grouped about the bed of the dying man were a deputy district attorney, a stenographer, and the arresting officer. Are you ready to talk now?
What do you want?
You admit you're Ray Task?
Yes, I admit it.
When you resisted arrest last night on Royal Court, who was shooting it off to a corcoran from the street?
I don't know.
Come on, Ray, tell the truth.
I tell you, I don't know.
It was your brother Earl, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Aunt Earl. He was home last night. He didn't know nothing about any of the guys.
Was any of them? How many were there?
Oh, there are a lot. Dozens, I guess.
And you and Earl pulled him.
No, I tell you, it wasn't Earl.
Listen, Ray, you have only a few minutes to live.
A few minutes. Doctor. Doctor. I don't want to die. I can't die now.
I'm sorry, Ray, but they've done everything they can for you.
Been a father to Earl. He's just a kid. He doesn't know what I've been doing. I can't die.
The best way you can do that, Ray, is to tell us who your partner was. If it wasn't Earl,
If you die without telling us, things may go very hard with Earl.
I won't die. I won't. You're not lying.
We're not lying to you.
I'm afraid to take over the bus. You'll get Earl.
don't worry about that. We'll see that your brother's protected if he's innocent.
Better hurry, Ray.
The guy that was with me, he got me under his head, talked me into it, and got me studs on stickers. He's a 3-time loser. From California.
What does he look like? Short, dark, sort of skin, olive color.
It's the one, all right. What's his name, Ray?
Tough. Ned.
Ned. Ned what?
He liked to beat people up after we robbed them. I didn't want him to, but he seemed to get a pleasure out of it.
What's his last name? Where can we find him?
North end of town. Skid Road.
Skid Road? You mean where all the joints and flop houses are?
Skid Road. Ned preaches there.
Preaches?
Yes. That's Ned. Skid Road. He's evangelist.
You've got to tell us more about him. Come on, give us the truth.
Truth.
I didn't know there were as many street preachers in the whole country as we've seen tonight.
They really go to town in this section.
I think this is just a waste of time. Even if the guy was dying, I think he gave us a runaround.
Well, I won't be satisfied until we've seen every soul saver on Skid Row.
Oh, but it doesn't make sense. A guy that beat his victims like this Ned did, if that's his name, it wouldn't be preaching in his spare moment.
That's just the point. When a guy's as brutal as he was, you want to look for something screwy in the setup. I think Ray Task told the truth before he cashed in.
Okay. Well, here's another bunch that's getting ready to start their service.
How they get a congregation in a rain like this is more than I know.
Hey, Phillips, how about you joining the congregation this time? I've about run out of nickels for the drum.
All right. But I hope this is the last one.
The wages of sin is death. The crimson path is death.
Amen, amen. Glory, hallelujah.
I'm glad that I've been saved, and my footsteps has been turned in the right path. Now, you'll all hear the story of a real convert. Listen to him, and you'll all see the light.
Praise be to his name. Brothers and sisters, I too have been a sinner. Amen. I have stole lots of things that was not mine. But I paid for my sins in prison as man has ordained. And while I was behind them great prison walls, I had time to think, and I saw the light. Yes, I saw the light, and now I don't have nothing but kindness for my fellow man. Yes, once I was brutal. Once I believed in an eye for an eye. But now I'm as gentle as a lamb. And all of you that's listening to me, do even as I did. Confess your sins. Now, everybody come into the mission hall. Follow me, and I'll show you the way to be a priest. Come in and listen to me tell you how's the right way to live. Praise be to his name. Right this way. Right this way. Praise be to his name.
Just a minute, young woman.
Yeah, what do you want?
Your leader is a very impressive speaker. Does he preach every night?
Oh, yeah, he's awful good. He's the leader of our group.
May I ask his name?
Oh, everybody down here knows him. That's Brother Ned.
Oh, Brother Ned, eh? What's his last name?
Oh, we don't use no last names. We're all brothers and sisters. Do you want to meet Brother Ned?
Yes, I'd like to very much.
Oh, Brother Ned, come here.
Yes, Sister Kate.
This guy wants to meet you.
Blessings on you, brother. Are you too tired of the sordid ways of the world? Will you join us in our salvation hall? There's hot coffee and salvation for everyone.
Well, are you going to preach in there tonight?
Tonight? No, brother, I'm sorry. But tonight I have other things to do. I have other souls to take care of.
Well,
There's so many that need being taken care of.
I'll come around some night when you're preaching. I'd like to hear you
Thank
talk.
you, brother. Thank you. And now on the seat of my plot, the donuts must be divided equally.
Everybody come this way. Come and get your coffee, donuts, and salvation.
Did you see that guy I was talking to? Didn't I? Well, that was Brother Ned.
Well, so that's Brother Ned. He answers the description, all right.
He'll be leaving in a few minutes. He said he knew some souls that had to be taken care of tonight.
Well, if he's the right one, we'll do some saving ourselves. We'll save some people from going to the hospital.
And here he comes.
Oh, just a minute, Brother Ned.
Ah, brother, I don't think I know you.
No, I don't think you do, but you're going to, because we're all going to take a nice little trip together.
Oh, I'm sorry, brothers, but I can't tonight.
Oh, yes, you can, brother. We're officers.
Police?
Yes, brother, police. Come on.
Grab him, Bob.
Let me go, brother. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go now.
I've got him. Get your business on him.
Now, you've got to let me go. I tell you, I have the Lord's word. You let me go
We're
now.
not going to let you go for a long time, brother.
Come on, get in there.
Now, you can't put me in there. I've got to take care of my flock.
Never mind. They'll be taken care of, but if you don't get in that cell, you'll be taken care of.
No, I tell you.
Now, now that you feel at home, maybe you'll talk.
Yeah. After those 3 stretches you did in California, you ought to feel at ease with bars around you.
Now, you got me all wrong, brothers.
You might as well talk, because there's dozens of souls you took care of that will identify you as the guy that beat them half to death.
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about, brothers.
I suppose you don't know what that automatic was doing in your pocket, do you?
That? Oh, well, I carry that for protection. You see, some of the brethren in the mission are tough customers, as
Do
you
you
call them.
deny you knew Ray Task?
Brother Tad? Oh, yes, I knew him, but I haven't seen him for some time. He was one of my first converts.
I'll say you converted him right into a grave.
Gone? Oh. Has Brother Tad passed on to his reward?
Yes, he has. And it's too bad you can't get the same reward.
I'm afraid you're talking in riddles, brothers.
Cut that brother act.
Now listen, Ned, the game's up. You've been very clever. It's a swell act. But just before Ray died, he confessed. He told us all about you.
That dirty rat always was yellow.
What did you say?
You heard me, coppers. That dirty rat always was yellow. I knew I should have worked alone.
Well, well, that sounds like the guy we've been looking for a long time.
Well said, Brother Ned.
So you admit you worked with him on the stick-up?
Sure. I admit it. You never would have got us if that jellyfish had learned what I tried to teach him.
Yeah, the brotherly love policy. Slug first, last, and always.
Nuts. I'm disgusted. All right, what do you want to know?
Well, this is just idle curiosity, but why did you always beat people up?
Why? The same reason you guys always play poker. I got a lot of fun out of it, see?
That's an original idea.
How about the religious angle?
Yeah. Was that a lot of fun, too?
But that. You know, coppers, that's a funny angle.
Well, go ahead and tell us. I'd like to get one laugh out of this case.
Well, you see, when I did my first stretch in California, I did one of the stir shows. I had the lead in this show, see? The cons had to have some entertainment.
They believe in the show.
Sure, and was I terrific. Even if I did play the part of the guy that always got it in the end, the cons liked it. You know, I got 7 and 8 curtain calls.
So what?
The guy's really screwed.
Go on, Ned.
Well, after I get out the third time, I come up here to Oregon. I'm standing on Skid Row. And this guy comes along with a drum and a band and makes a spiel, and it's pretty good. So, I get me an idea.
You mean you got the idea it would be a good front for you?
No, I never even thought of that. I just figured I could join the flock and get some free handouts and maybe the layouts and some of the members. Then I could visit them when I went home.
What got you into big-time stick-ups?
I guess maybe I was dumb. But the guys in the mission didn't have no dough. I should have known that, I guess, but it made me sore. Yeah, I was plenty sore.
So you took it out on everybody you stuck up?
Sure I did. Well, what else could I do, brother?
This guy's a screwball if I ever saw one.
You're telling me. But I just want to clear up one angle, Ned. How about the kid brother, Ray Test? Did he work with you on any of the stick-ups?
Nah, of course not. He didn't have no nerve.
Okay, Ned. That's all we wanted to know. Oh, you don't mind if your audience leaves you now, do you?
Without any curtain call.
Oh, I'm used to the raspberries from you dumb coppers. But you know, everything is going to be all right. I've sinned, it's true. But I've seen the light, brother. I've seen the light. Glory, hallelujah.
Save
if
it.
I'm not
Save
alive,
it. Save it, Ned. Sorry we can't wait around to hear more about this, but where you're going, you'll have an appreciative audience for a long, long time.
Oh.
In just a moment, we will present concluding facts regarding our program. I'd like to say this before we close, friends. Whether you're going to the fair, or in search of wildflowers, or merely going about your daily tasks, there are no more congenial motoring companions in pleasure or business than wear and tear preventing Realube motor oil and powerful Rio Grande Crack, the most highly recommended gasoline sold in the West. One bandit was dead, and another in custody as a result of the wave of crime. Brother Ned received a sentence of 20 years. He has been most forcibly taught that crime cannot pay.
Portland Police calling all cars. Attention all cars. The cancellation broadcast 284 regarding a holdup. Suspects in this case captured by Portland officers. That's all. Rolls and clear.
This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsley, bidding you good night for Rio Grande.
The American West. Once it could have been the British, Spanish, or even the Russian West. It became American primarily because of the explorations of two young Army officers, Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. Their pioneering journey stands as one of the great achievements in the history of the United States.
Calder, Bratton, Windsor, and you too, Goodrich. Get over here and tend to this gear. If there was any engine snooping around, it would have been stolen long ago.
Captain Clark, what if a sergeant lost his voice? Would he get demoted to private?
Cruzat Pryor's a very good man.
Well, just joking, sir.
The river's getting more and more difficult, especially for the red longboat.
Well, sir, it was built for the deep, wide Missouri.
And not this narrow, fast Missouri.
Well, that's about it, sir.
Sergeant Pryor says you know how to make a cache in the Indian style.
Yes, sir.
The two pirogues. We want to hide the red one and cache some of the heavier gear, and the greater part of the scientific specimens we've collected since Fort Mandan. We'll continue with the white one, although we may have to make one or two small dugouts to supplement our canoes.
The rise behind us, sir, that looks like it's above the high water
You
mark.
make sure of it, Cruzat. This cache must stay dry. There will be irreplaceable items stored in it.
Yes, sir.
And we'd rather not have the Indians discovered after we leave and they come poking around our campsite.
Oh, I can disguise it. I need 3 men to work with me in relays. That is, if you want the job done fast.
Pick them and start after the noon meal.
Yes, sir.
Captain Clark. Captain Lewis, I need help.
What's the trouble, Charbonneau?
Sacagawea. I've never seen her so sick. She says she's going to die.
Horizons West, the continued story of the Lewis and Clark expedition. Now, with Harry Bartell as Meriwether Lewis and John Anderson as William Clark, listen to Chapter 5, The Great Falls. The Lewis and Clark Corps of Discovery was only a day's travel beyond the junction of Marias River and the Missouri in the north-central part of what is now the state of Montana. The men had declared that Marias River was the correct route west. The two captains had stood for the Missouri, the route which the expedition now followed. Despite the difference of opinion, the men were loyally following their leaders. Now, however, more problems faced them. Travel upstream had become increasingly hard, and there was the constant urgency of having to reach the mountains before winter closed in and made further travel impossible.
Sacagawea, I am back.
Captain Clark, Captain Lewis, you have brought them.
Yes, yes. They will make you well again.
The baby?
I will quieten you.
I do not know what will happen to the baby if I die.
There. Be a good boy, huh? No more crying.
How long have you been sick, Sacagawea?
3 days. I hoped the pain would go away and I would not become a burden.
Where do you feel this pain?
The needle of my body. Sometimes like the sharp knife. Sometimes like the heavy club.
You don't mind if I examine you, Sacagawea?
You are a medicine man. Do what your art tells you.
Meriwether, help me turn her on her back. Of course. All right, easy. Easy. There.
She seems very warm to the touch.
It's a high fever. Sacagawea, have you tried to eat anything today?
Nothing.
See. Now, I'm going to put some pressure on your stomach. You tell me where it hurts. Here? Here? Hurt a little?
Yes.
There?
Oh.
Meriwether, did you bring along that box of Dr. Rush's pills?
Yes, I did.
Charbonneau, come here a minute.
What can I do, Captain?
Give her these 2 pills with a little water. Then make some cold compresses to reduce this fever. We'll look in again in the morning.
Will I die?
Now, not if we can help it. You stay flat on your back. Let your husband take care of you and the baby. Come on, Meriwether. Well, Meriwether, what do you think?
I don't like to say it, but it seems to me like the sickness that killed Sergeant Floyd.
Floyd's abdomen is much more sensitive to the touch.
And so hers will be tomorrow.
Well, all we can do is wait and see. Of course, the men can use time in camp to make new clothes, repair equipment.
A day or 2 in camp, no matter what they're doing, they'll turn it into a morale problem.
I mean, time is passing, and we're no nearer the mountains and the Shoshones and the horses they can trade us.
Most of our men don't think that far ahead. They just think that we're leading them in the wrong direction. Most of them still believe Mariah's River is the Missouri.
The Great Falls will prove we're right. The Mandan said it was a feature of the upper Missouri, and so did Sacagawea.
I think I have a solution, Billy. You stay here and doctor Sacagawea, and I'll take a few men and reconnoiter upriver.
Good idea. After you've actually seen the falls, every man will know we're on the right path. If I were you, I think I'd start at dawn.
We'll take Driar, Goodrich, Gibson, and Joe Field.
Fine. Now, let's have a look at that cache.
We moved toward the rise where Cruzat and Goodrich were working. We stopped short of them as we heard their voices.
Only 4 feet to go to each after all this time.
You sound more like a sergeant every day.
Oh, time in grade, Silas, my boy.
Plus experience and brains, I suppose.
Naturally. Gee.
Yes, sir, Senior Private. If fiddles were rifles, you'd be a general.
Captain Clark. Cruzat. Goodrich. A little less talk and more digging.
Yes, Sergeant.
Come on, Billy, let's have a closer look.
Well, looks pretty good, Cruzat.
The chunk of sod we first got is 2.5 feet in diameter. We're widening the opening little by little as we go down. It'll end up 7 feet deep and 7 feet across the bottom, sir.
While we watched, Shields and Bratton came in, and Pryor had them tote dirt away and dump it into the river. By evening, the cache was finished, ready to receive the articles we would store there the next morning.
I was worried about Meriwether the next morning. He ate no breakfast, complained of stomach pains as he shouldered his pack and hurried Gibson, Rudyard, Joe Fields, and Goodrich along the bank of the river. I watched them until they were lost to sight in a clump of cottonwood. Then I supervised the loading of our heavy goods into the cache. Blacksmith tools, spare rations, gunpowder and lead canisters, and, of course, specimens. These were placed on a floor of dry twigs. Animal skins were spread on top, and then Cruzat filled in with dirt. Finally, replaced a 2.5-foot circle of sod.
Looks pretty natural, doesn't it,
A
sir?
few days, nobody'd be able to see where your spade touched ground.
And now I look for a place to hide the red boat.
Maybe that islet in the middle of the river.
Well, that's what I was thinking, sir.
Yeah, Captain Clark. Sacagawea is no better this morning. And I worn myself out running to and from the river to make coal complex.
You're complaining, Charbonneau. You ought to be glad to do something to help her.
But I'm not helping, Captain. It is futile. She will die.
Well, we'll try something else. Maybe I ought to bleed her.
Bleed her? You mean take away blood of a woman who's already too weak?
Only a small amount. Most doctors consider it an effective treatment.
If you say so, Captain, but please, do not kill her.
We stopped before dark to make camp and eat, but I had lost my appetite and couldn't touch a thing. My stomach was a battleground of aches and pains.
Captain Lewis, you sure you won't have a steak?
Oh, no. It's all I can stand to watch you eat.
I'm sorry.
I hate to admit it, but I'm not well. My stomach is full of pain and I'm running a fever.
What I can do, Captain.
I noticed chokecherry bushes down by the river. I seem to remember my mother brewing a remedy she called chokecherry tea.
Chokecherry tea? That is poison.
Sure is, sir. Just the same, I want you to go out and get some of the berries and the twigs.
Oh, but, sir...
Do as I say.
Yes, sir.
Drillard brought back the twigs and the berries. Under my direction, he cooked them into a black and evil-looking fluid. Over the protests of the men, I drank 2 cups of the foul stuff. Then I sat by the fire and waited. I began to sweat, and at first my stomach felt worse. 2 hours passed. Everybody was asleep but George Drillard and me. George?
Yes, Captain.
The pain is gone. And the fever.
Oh. Well, I guess if that stuff does not kill a man, it kills what is ailing him.
You think you could fry me an elk steak?
I sure could, sir.
When morning came, I was completely myself. We broke camp and moved ahead over rough country abounding in rocks and gullies, in prickly pear and rattlesnakes. By the evening of the second day, we were glad to camp, eat, and fall into the sleep of exhausted men. Morning found us renewed. We pushed on over the rough country.
You hear that, sir?
Sounds like a waterfall. We moved forward. The sound became a roar, and the river was partially obscured by the white spray of the water as it spilled down the face of the bluff. It was a spectacular sight, even from the imperfect position we occupied.
Will you look at that?
That is the greatest sight in the world.
If we climb up on these rocks, we'll get a better view.
Yes, sir.
We climbed a ridge of rock which roughly paralleled the river some distance from the falls and at a higher elevation. From here, we could see water pouring over nearly perpendicular cliffs, dropping 80 to 100 feet to strike across 300 yards of river with a boiling, vaporous impact. While the men made camp and cooked a sumptuous meal of buffalo hump, trout, and parched corn, I wrote a detailed description of the falls, which did seem to have the advantage of a first impression. Indeed, Billy Clark and I were right about our choice of rivers, but making portage around the Great Falls was going to be a fearsome task. I decided to send Joe Fields back to the main camp with word of our discovery.
Today, Joe Fields transformed our camp with the news he brought. Captain Lewis had led him and the others to the fabled Great Falls. I watched all the small doubts and skepticisms leave the men, to be replaced by a new spirit of unity and a desire to go forward. Obviously, it was time to break camp, even if it meant moving Sacagawea. With the help of Charbonneau, we made a bed for her in the white pirogue, launched our boats to do battle with the swiftly moving river.
All right, put some muscle into it. Oh!
Look out ahead. Prickly pear.
Prickly pear!
The water's only waist deep.
Take to the water. Pull! Pull!
It took 3 days for us to reach Portage Creek, just below the falls, where Meriwether had set up a camp, which would be our base during the portage. I gave orders for Shields and Bratton to help Charbonneau construct a tent shelter for the ailing Sacagawea, then climbed up on a high point with Meriwether Lewis for a view of the falls.
Beautiful sight, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that all you have to say?
Well, I'm thinking of the portage. We have a lot of equipment to move. There's several more falls beyond this first one, I suppose.
5 in all, in a 10-mile stretch of river. As near as I can calculate, the portage will be about 18 miles.
Over rough ground?
The ground could be worse. What worries me is an overabundance of prickly pear and rattlesnakes and unpredictable weather. Now, just the last few days have changed from heat to cold to rain to wind. We've had hailstorm and a flash flood.
Maybe we'd better find a place to hide the white pirogue. That 50-foot boat is our biggest.
At the far end, we can make a couple of dugouts to replace it. The men can carry the light baggage. And for the canoes and the heavy gear, we'll build trucks.
Trucks? Out of what? All I see is a stand of cottonwood.
Well, it may not be the strongest of woods, but we have no choice. There's one big tree near the creek. It's about 2 feet in diameter. We can cut across sections of it for wheels.
Well, it might work.
Got to work. Unless you want to spend the winter here.
No, thanks.
How is Sacagawea?
Worse. I think we're going to lose her. We did Floyd.
Sure it's the same complaint?
Well, I don't really know. I wish I were more of a doctor.
How have you been treating her?
Cataplasms of bark and laudanum. Doesn't help.
You know, we might try something that cured me of a violent abdominal disorder on the way to the falls.
Oh, what's that?
Chokecherry tea.
Don't know anything about it.
We can't let her die.
Not without trying it, I guess.
In a hollow at the bottom of the bluff, we'll find some chokecherry bushes. We'll pick enough twigs and fruit to brew several quarts.
You know, Meriwether, I hate to think of what would happen to the baby if she should die.
You're fond of her and that baby, aren't you?
Charbonneau treats her badly. If she dies, it'll be his fault. I had doubts about the chokecherry tea, although I said nothing to Meriwether. After all, it was a last resort. We took the concoction to the tent, where the suffering Sacagawea lay. Charbonneau admitted us.
How is she, Charbonneau?
Out of the time, out of her head.
And the fever.
Right now, she sleeps. Gentlemen, I'm worried. Worried. What do I do if she dies? How will I care for the child? Where will I find milk?
There's no need to indulge yourself in that kind of thinking. Sacagawea is still alive. Captain Lewis has brought a new medicine.
A new medicine. What good can it possibly do after the bark and the laudanum has failed? No, Captain, it is most difficult when a man faces the loss of a beloved wife.
It's difficult for us, too. As doctors, we hate to lose a patient. As leaders, we hate to lose a follower. And as human beings, we hate to lose a valued friend. Now, do you think you can make her drink this medicine?
I can try.
You'll have to do better than that. Wickard, tell her it has a vile and bitter taste, but it also has great curative powers. If you have to, force it down. A pint now, another pint tonight, a third in the morning. Captain Clark and I will be back again tomorrow. If there's an emergency, you know where to find us.
That night, while the men ate a good and ample meal, we assigned groups to the necessary preliminary tests of the portage. Sergeant Ordway and a detail would build the trucks. Sergeant Gass and his squad would carefully mark the portage route with stakes. And Sergeant Pryor and his men were charged with the hiding of the white pirogue and the making of another cache. In the morning after breakfast, and after the men had begun their tasks, Meriwether and I went to find out the condition of our patient, Sacagawea.
There's no sign of life at the tent.
And also no sign of death.
We'll soon find out. Charbonneau.
Come in.
Captain Clark. Captain Louis. Good morning.
Sacagawea, you're better.
Why, it's like a miracle.
I am weak, but the pain is gone. Soon I will be on my feet.
This trip is too much for her. This trip filled with hell.
No, Toussaint. Sickness comes any place, any time.
No. Gentlemen, I am compelled to take her away. Back to where living is easier.
You don't mean that.
I do, Captain Louis. Issue me a warrant for my pay.
Nobody quits in the middle of this kind of job. You know that.
I seem to remember you begging for this job back at Fort Mandan.
And my money, please. Sacagawea must go to a better climate.
Toussaint, I am ashamed of you.
Be quiet, squaw.
No, Toussaint. The squaw will speak. She will go on with the captain. She will help them to know her people and get them horses to ride over the shining mountains. She will hope that you do not desert, that you do your promised work.
This is not an expedition assembled for private gain, Charbonneau. None of us enlisted in the hope of getting rich. You're a member of the Corps of Discovery.
And I have had more than enough of it, Captain. Only fools go through this kind of ordeal for $25 per month and a very poor kind of keep.
Because of Sacagawea, I won't put you under arrest and have you tried before a court-martial. This once, I'll remind you that when you enlisted, you also pledged yourself to the government of the United States. Either you live up to your pledge and return with honor with the rest of us, or you will go back a prisoner in disgrace. The portage began. Boats were loaded on the cottonwood trucks. Ropes were attached, and the men pulled the trucks over the rocky, bumpy portage road we had staked across the uneven plain.
Come on, pull! Get your backs into it. Pull!
You think we're horses?
If you was, we'd have no worrying about how to cross the mountain. Now, come on, pull!
The men kept on pulling with all their might, plodding through fields of prickly pear. The thorns pierced the soles of their moccasins and cut into their feet. Sergeant Pryor watched the group towing his truck very, very carefully, calling for a rest period just before the weakest of the men was about to collapse.
All right, halt! Lock those wheels and rest.
Hey, Pryor.
What do you want now, Grisette?
Feel that wind?
Yeah, maybe it'll make us a little cooler dragging up the next rise.
It's strong enough to do more than that.
What do you mean?
Why not put up the sail?
Are you crazy, Cruzette?
We have wheels last time I looked.
Oh, good idea. Captain Lewis?
I heard the suggestion. Go ahead, try it.
Hooray!
Get that sail up fast before the wind quits.
They raised the sail. Cruzat manipulated it so that it caught the full force of the wind. The truck began to roll. It picked up speed. The men leaped on for a dry land sailing trip.
That cottonwood just too blame weak for axles.
Better use the mast for a new axle. It'll be strong enough.
All right, men, on the double.
While the unremitting labor of the portage went on, I established another camp at the far end of the falls. On the way back from moving personal baggage from old camp to new, the wind began to blow. The sky darkened. The sun was entirely swallowed up in a night-like blackness. With me were Sacagawea and her baby, and Charbonneau. My man York had gone on up ahead to do a little hunting.
Come quickly, under those trees.
No, that's not high enough ground in case of flood. Now, over this way. We took cover under a ledge of rock near the top of the ravine. We crouched there for at least half an hour while the rain pounded down.
Do not cry, Bucksy. It is only rain. Rain that makes all things grow.
This kind of rain beats things to death.
Well, it never lasts very long.
We can hope not, Captain. We can hope not.
What's that? I looked and saw a torrent rushing down the ravine and rising toward us. Quick! Everybody out of here!
Mon Dieu, it's a flood!
We clawed our way up the side of the ravine, with Charbonneau in the lead, of course. Just as the rising waters, carrying all kinds of debris, touched my feet, Charbonneau panicked and couldn't seem to move.
Save me! Save me! I cannot
Don't move, Charbonneau! Move!
Quick, Doc, quick!
Get up there, fast, or I'll drown you! The threat worked. He scrambled up the rest of the way, even offering a helping hand to Sacagawea and the baby. I pushed from below. The water rose to my waist. Finally, we all clambered to safety. When I turned to look back where we had been, the ledge had vanished, covered by at least 5 feet of rushing water. The days seemed to creep past. We observed the 4th of July with a fusillade of rifle fire and the issuing of the last of the whiskey, and then continued our work. Finally, on July 15th, a full month after our arrival at the Great Falls, we were ready to move on. We loaded the boats and were about to push out into the river once again when I noticed Sacagawea making marks with a stick in the damp earth near the riverbank. I asked her what she was doing.
We near the country of my people. I write in the earth. I say you are friends of the Shoshone.
Ensuing travel became more and more difficult. Oars would not prevail against the stronger currents we encountered. We had to use the poles and the tow ropes in combination with oars. The slowest, most agonizing method of transportation known to man. From dawn to dusk each day, the courage and staying powers of the men were tested and retested. Now and then, along the shore, we would see Indian lodges and teepees, some long abandoned, others hastily vacated, as if their tenants took to the hills at the first sight of them. Then, on the 27th of July, we arrived at another river junction, the Three Forks, where the mountains leveled into a long, high plain. We camped on a height where we could see ahead for many miles.
Captain Clark, there. We were down there near the river. The enemy came on swift horses.
5 years ago?
Yes. We fled up the river. Our warriors made a stand, but they were too few, and the Gros Ventre were too strong. Many of my people were wounded. 8 or 10 were killed. I tried to run. An enemy warrior rode me down. He made me his prisoner.
Your family was with you when it happened?
We were separated in the first rush. I do not know if they lived or they died.
I'm sorry. Maybe some of them lived through it. Maybe you will find them again.
I hope so.
But when? Why do they hide from us? Why do they stay in the hills?
Maybe they fear my writing in the earth is only a trick.
In the meantime, all we can do is keep on, up the largest river of the three, until we run out of water. We had to have horses. We had to get across the high mountains.
But the timid Shoshones remained in hiding. And we kept on poling and pulling our way up the river.
You have been listening to Horizons West, the continued story of the Lewis and Clark expedition. Chapter 5, The Great Falls, starred Harry Bartell as Meriwether Lewis and John Anderson as William Clark. Featured in the cast were Sebastian Cabot, Carl Swenson, Helen Gerald, Don Diamond, Frank Gerstle, and Herb Ellis. Our story was written by Carley and William Tunberg and directed by William Lally. Michael Rye speaking. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Calling all cars, the copyrighted program created by Rio Grande.
San Francisco County Sheriff's Office calling all cars. Attention all cars to broadcast 286 regarding a missing person. Be on the lookout for Marion Williams, age 18 years, 5 feet 2 inches, weighs about 105 pounds. Was last seen at the Emmanuel Church. That's all. Rolls and close.
Mr. Lindsley, why is this all-purpose quality of the new Rio Grande cracked gasoline so important?
Well, which would be better? To saddle your automobile with half a dozen gas tanks, each one carrying a fuel stressing one purpose, or to have only one gas tank filled with a gasoline embodying a scientifically perfect blend of all ingredients essential to meeting every requirement?
I understand. Other gasolines have some of these ingredients in varying proportions, but all-purpose Rio Grande cracked has twice as many as ordinary motor fuel, and they're so skillfully combined in the new Rio Grande crack that it's always ready to meet any type of emergency demand.
Many thousands of our friends found out all they wanted to know about all-purpose Rio Grande cracked gasoline during the past week, and are in full agreement with drivers of police cars and fire engines in all parts of the state who made their private tests before our public announcement that this amazing new gasoline is the all-purpose motor fuel of the West. Drive into the red and white Rio Grande station in the morning and try it. One tankful of all-purpose Rio Grande crack, and you'll find out why it is more than ever the most highly recommended gasoline sold in the West. The facts around which tonight's Calling All Cars program has been written were taken from the confidential files of the sheriff of San Francisco County. We have therefore asked Sheriff Daniel C. Murphy to open our program from the studios of KSFO.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The story we are to hear tonight is one that has long been famous in California. At the time of its solution, it attracted nationwide attention for the brilliant work
which law enforcement officers did in bringing the criminal to justice. The methods of police officers have changed with the times, and more modern equipment makes the work of the law enforcement officer less difficult. But time cannot change the unalterable fact that no matter how cunningly a criminal conceals his crime, he cannot win. Sooner or later, he is brought to justice, and impressed with the truth of the law that crime of any sort is a losing game.
An early April twilight fell over the Mission Dolores section of San Francisco. The tall spire on the bell tower of the Emmanuel Church cast a long black shadow that streaked sideways down the slanting roof and over the stained glass windows, ending abruptly in the square of yellow light that streamed from the library window. Inside, the good women of the church were preparing to decorate for the coming Easter day.
Martha, have you seen the new minister yet this evening? I want to ask him about the lilies.
No, my dear, I haven't. You, Mrs. Hilton? No, I haven't either. But if you ask me, I'm going to have my suspicions about that man.
What do you mean?
You don't mean, Mrs. Hilton.
I
don't have very much to go on. But if you remember our last minister... And forbid, Mrs. Hilton. Don't even mention his name.
You don't mean you think he has anything to do with planting this fear out?
Don't misunderstand me, Mrs. Hilton. I didn't say exactly, but...
Poor little Blanche Lamont. She was such a sweet little thing. Martha, why, you speak as though she was dead.
She could be. No one's seen her since last Wednesday night. And you know Marion Williams is so upset about it. She and Blanche were such good friends, they were almost like sisters. Speaking of Marion Williams, did you notice she wasn't at Endeavor meeting last week?
Don't talk about it anymore. All this disappearance and mystery frightens me half to death. I'm not any too well, you know.
Yes, dear, we know. Oh, hey, girl, doesn't that organ music sound that beautiful?
What he's playing now does. But have you ever heard him play that awful music of his?
Yes, weird, isn't it? Why, you shouldn't be allowed to play such music on the church organ.
You're absolutely right, Martha. Oh, Mrs. Hilton, would you mind getting the flower baskets while we go on into the auditorium?
Not at all, not at all. Wonder if they look as awful as they did last year. Should get some new ones.
Oh, where are they, Mrs. Lewis? Oh, they're in that closet right over there under the belfry stairs. At least that's where we left them last year.
Well, I'll look and see.
Oh!
What's the matter? Be quiet, all of you. Be quiet. Now, Mrs. Hilton, what's the matter in here?
Oh, Mr. Halsey, she's in there.
Who is?
Marion Williams.
Marion Williams?
Yes. Yes, and she's dead.
Detectives Harvey and Andrews were assigned to the case and proceeded to question some of those brave enough to have remained on the scene.
Reverend, where were you when the body was first discovered?
Well, I was on my way here from the parsonage. I heard the screaming and crying as I first entered the church. It was a sad day for my congregation.
Were you acquainted with the murdered girl?
Sir, I am the shepherd. I know my flock well. Yes, I knew her. She was one of the Sunday school students, almost old enough to become a member of the church.
Who else knew her?
Why, everybody in the church. Mr. Halsey, our organist. Mr. Durant, our assistant Sunday school superintendent. Everybody in the entire congregation.
Have you any idea of why she was murdered or by whom?
My dear man, I am a minister of the gospel. It is my duty to spread the word, not delve into the works of Satan.
On through the hours of that early spring evening, Harvey and Andrews plied their questions and received in answer only a maze of tangled facts and fancy. Finally, with no real evidence other than that found on the murdered girl and the fact that she had been strangled by a left-handed person, Harvey and Andrews decided to wait until the next day to complete their search, feeling that important clues might be overlooked in the darkness. As the first rays of the morning sun touched the stained glass windows where the shadow of the church spire had fallen the evening before, Detectives Harvey and Andrews began a careful search of the church, while high above them the bells in the tower joined in the paean of chimes to the risen faith.
Oh, there you are.
And who are you?
We're detectives. Who are you?
I'm the sexton of this church.
You all through ringing those bells?
Ringing those bells, indeed. I'll have you to know I was playing the Easter morning chimes.
No, I beg your pardon. I meant if you were finished, we wanted you to help us search the building.
Well, why didn't you say so, then? You want to start at this floor?
Yeah. Where do these stairs go?
Up to the gallery, and there's more up there going up to the bell tower.
Well, that's about the only place left, so come on.
The door to the bell tower's right over there.
Yeah. Hey, look there. The handle's broken off. Andrews, see if you can get it open.
All right, Harvey. Can't seem to do anything with it. It's locked.
You got a key to this door, Sexton?
No, my key only fits the front door.
And why do you keep the church doors locked?
Well, of course we do. Thief's no respecter of a holy edifice.
Well, who has the keys to the church besides you?
Mr. Halsey, the organist, has one. Mr. Durant has one to the side door, and our pastor has a complete set.
Do you ever use this side door?
Never. I have to lock up when I leave, and I always use the front door.
Who has a key to this door?
I don't know.
Say, Harvey, all this talk isn't getting this door open.
Well, I hate to do this, especially in a church, but I guess there's nothing else to do. But break it down. All right, Andrews. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, once more. Now, watch your step. Here's it's kind of steep.
It's kind of dark in here, ain't it? There's a trap door just up there above you. That's why it's so dark in here. It's shut.
Seems to me you know quite a bit about this bell tower.
Now, listen, I helped to build this church. Does that answer your insinuation?
No harm, then.
No.
Hey, what's the matter?
Bumped my head on a trap door.
Need any help to get it open?
No. I don't think it's locked. There. Now you can see a little better. Come on up.
See anything, Harvey?
No, not over this way. Good Lord.
What is it?
Look over there.
Lord have mercy on us. It's Black Lamont. Oh, I thought it was.
Here was the second cold-blooded murder that faced the detectives, and with their careful search for clues came the first accurate hint of the killer. Beside the body of the dead girl, Detective Harvey makes his first discovery.
Andrews, look. Here's some horse hairs.
Horse hairs? What would they be doing in this bell tower?
Well, that's just it. Don't you see? They must have fallen from the clothing of whoever committed this murder.
Hey, speaking of hair, look at this girl's fingers.
What do you mean?
Looks like she put up quite a battle. See there on the fingers of her right hand? Some short hairs.
Here. I'm going to take a few of her own and those horse hairs down to the laboratory. Not much to go on, but it's a start.
Hey, Harvey, do those marks on her throat look odd to you?
Odd? No. Whenever they go one step more in finding the killer, we know he rides a horse, we know the color of his hair.
And from those marks, we know we're looking for a man who's left-handed.
The following day, a package was sent to Miss Lamont's aunt, containing 3 rings that belonged to her missing niece. On the newspaper with which the package was wrapped was written the names of Marion Williams' music teacher, the church organist, and the assistant superintendent of the Sunday school. Detectives Harvey and Andrews set out to question these men, not forgetting a fourth, the unknown sender of the package, whose writing was said to resemble that of the minister.
Yeah? Are you Professor Kranz?
I'm Professor Kranz. You wish music lessons, yeah?
Well, no, Professor. We're detectives. We want to ask you a few questions.
Oh, dear girl, I knew. Yes, she was a good too.
There were 2 poor dead girls, Professor.
2 it is, But would you come in, please? I am just this day past 72 years, and this tire, it is 10 fast. So, won't you come in, please?
Well, no,
now I do not walk so good. I never go out in the walk.
You own a horse and buggy?
No more. But once I did. It was a beautiful horse.
Well, thank you, Professor, for answering our questions. And congratulations on your birthday.
Gentlemen, good day.
Well, Andrews, I guess that just about eliminates him.
I reckon it does. But let's have another talk with that minister. I think maybe he can add something.
Reverend, you have keys to the church.
Yes, I have keys to every door.
Do you have a key to that little door leading off the balcony to the bell tower?
Certainly. It's a very ordinary lock. Any skeleton key will fit it. There was no reason for you gentlemen to break it down.
You forget that the handle was broken. But never mind that for now. Do you own a horse?
No, I do not.
You ever ride a horse?
Well, I have ridden, but not lately. You see, the limited wealth of my present congregation does not allow me to afford such
Reverend,
luxuries.
Reverend,
Yes?
here's a brand new comb. Would you mind running it through your hair?
Well, I'm sure I don't see your point, gentlemen, but if it will oblige you. Yeah.
Thank you, Reverend.
Now, if you'll just sign this little paper giving it permission to go through the church at any time.
Well, you seem to have been doing that already, but if it will help you. Here, give it to me. There you are. No, I see no sense to it. Now, is there anything else?
Yes, one more thing. There's a pair of shoes I picked up in your study. Are they yours?
Yes, they're mine, some old ones.
Well, I'm going to take them to headquarters. I'm curious about these brown stains on them.
Gentlemen, many trials and tribulations have fallen my lot. These are turbulent days, but you two would try the patience of Job. Good day.
Looks like we kind of ruffled his feathers a bit.
Well, anyway, we got what we wanted. Now let's look up Mr. Halsey, the church organist. Now, Mr. Halsey, where were you during the afternoon of April 3rd?
I was at the church practicing on the organ.
Were you acquainted with the two murdered girls?
Yes, I knew them both.
Do you own a rider horse?
I don't own one, but I do ride occasionally.
Hey, would you mind running your hand through your hair? Yeah, thank you. Now, let me see your hand.
Why are you taking those loose hairs?
I'm making a collection.
Now, Mr. Halsey, we want you to sign this paper stating you were in the church on the afternoon of April 3rd. Thank you. Did anyone see you in the church on April 3rd?
Why, yes, Mr. Grant saw me.
About what time was this?
It was about 5 o'clock or a little later. And, say, now that I think about it...
About what?
He came down out of the belfry.
Huh?
What?
Yes, sir, and he was as pale as a ghost. He asked me to get him a drink of water, and I did.
And what did he say to you? Did he tell you why he'd been up there?
Yes, and it seemed rather strange, too. Said he had been fixing the gas lights, and that the escaping gas had nearly suffocated him.
Well, now I think we're getting someplace. Harvey, let's go back to headquarters and see what the laboratory tests show, and then we'll send for Mr. Durant.
What disappointment awaited the two detectives, for the laboratory tests proved that the various samples of hair collected did not match the hairs taken from the Lamont girl's fingers. Nor were stains on the minister's shoes blood, but oil. Nevertheless, the case was rapidly narrowed. Suspicion was centering on Mr. Durant, who, answering their summons, knocked on Captain Clark's door at headquarters.
Come in.
Captain Clark?
Yes.
You sent for me. I'm Ted Durant.
Oh, yes, come in. Mr. Durant, this is Detective Harvey, and this is Detective Anders assigned to case the two murdered girls.
Well, Captain, I'm at your service, sir.
We have a few questions we would like you to answer.
Gladly, sir. I'll do anything I can to help clear all this up.
Do you own a horse, Mr. Durant?
No, this is one that I ride quite frequently. And where do you keep in stables with all the others of the Signal Corps of the National Guard? I'm a member of that troop.
Are you still studying to be a doctor?
Yes, indeed. I'm in my senior year at the Cooper Medical College here in San Francisco.
How long have you been connected with the church?
Ever since I was a very small boy. My entire family is very religious.
Do you spend a lot of time in church work?
Yes, sir, I do. Particularly Sunday school work and the young people's endeavor.
Where were you on April the 3rd, that is in the early afternoon?
I was at medical school.
Did you go by the church on your way home?
Well, yes, I did. Yeah, I'd noticed that the gas jets of the light fixtures in the belfry needed fixing, so I stopped in to see if I couldn't make the repairs.
Mr. Halsey tells us that you came down out of the bell tower about 5 o'clock.
Well, it was about that time, yes. Yes, you see, to make the repairs, I had to lie down at full length on the plank, which made my head lower than my feet. Lying in that position, naturally, the blood rushed to my head. It made me feel pretty faint, and so when I came down, I found Mr. Halsey there. I asked him to get me a drink of water. Then we left the church together about 6.
What did you do then?
Well, came back to the church later for a prayer meeting. I saw Blanche's aunt. I asked her if Blanche was coming to the meeting, and she said that she believed she was. But then, of course, Blanche didn't come. So right after prayer meeting, I went home.
Now, if you will, Mr. Durant, I'd like to have you come over here by my desk.
Certainly, Captain. What would you have, sir?
Just lean your head over this sheet of paper and brush your hair with your hand.
It's a strange request, Captain. Why do you want me to do that?
Well, frankly, Mr. Durant, we want a sample of your hair.
Sample of my hair? Oh, here.
Oh, you didn't need to fill out a handful. 1 or 2 would have done.
You really are serious about your suspicions of me?
Where a matter is concerned, we must be suspicious of everyone.
Is there anything more, sir?
Yes, there is. Would you please give us your signature? Here's a pen. You can use that piece of paper there.
There you are, sir.
Well, thank you for coming down here, Mr. Durant. We'll get in touch with you later.
I'm glad to have been of service. Good day, gentlemen.
Well, Captain, what do you think? He's got a clean record. But just the same, we're going to check this hair. And I want you fellas to go out and ask questions. Talk to the church members. Go out to the National Guard stables and get me a few hairs from the horse he rides. Maybe somewhere we'll get a definite lead, and we'll either clear him entirely or cinch our case.
While Detective Harvey went in search of Durant's horse, Andrews called upon church member after church member, finding in the amazing amount of conversation they were willing to divulge only one fact of importance. Durant was late to that Friday night Endeavor meeting and was seen to enter the washroom before joining the others. At the stables of the National Guard, Detective Harvey quickly found the horse ridden by Ted Durant and secured a sample of hair. Reporting back to headquarters, Harvey and Andrews are again in the office of Captain Clark.
Boys, Durant's hair matches the hair found on the Lamont girl's fingers. He was late for Endeavor meeting the night Marion Williams was killed. And he was in the bell tower the day Blanche Lamont was murdered.
Pardon me for breaking in on you, Captain.
Oh, it's all right, Simpson. What is it?
The hair sample from Durant's horse matches the sample that was found in the bell tower, and none of the other samples did.
Thank you, Simpson. Now, there's one more thing. Let's check and see if Durant really was at school on the afternoon of April 3rd.
Attendance records at the medical school showed Theodore Durant's presence on April 3rd. But determined to make certain, Harvey and Andrews began to question some of the students of Durant's class.
Do you know Ted Durant?
Sure, why?
Was he in class on April 3rd?
I don't remember. I don't sit near him.
Is there any way the attendance records could show a man was present when he really was absent?
Sure. All you got to do is to get someone to answer for you when the roll is called. There's so many in the class, nobody pays any attention to you.
Did you answer present for Ted Durant on April 3rd?
No, sir.
Did you answer here for Ted Durant on April 3rd?
Nope.
Did you answer here?
Not me.
Did you answer?
No. Did you?
No, it wasn't me.
Did you answer present for Ted Durant on April 3rd?
Well, yes. Why? Finally. After 62 others didn't.
Well, just why did you answer for him when he wasn't there?
Well, he asked me to. He said he had something he wanted to do and didn't want his name to be marked down as absent. We all do it for each other now and then.
What kind of a student is he?
He gets good grades, if that's what you mean.
Does he go in for athletics?
Sure. And can he pitch a baseball? Why, he can put him over with either hand.
You mean he uses his left hand as well as his right?
Sure. He's going to make a good doctor.
He'll be able to operate with either hand. He's really a fine example of ambidexterity.
You may not know it, young fellow, but as a start to your medical career, you just signed a death warrant.
Arriving at the Durant residence, Detectives Harvey and Andrews discovered that Ted Durant had gone to Mount Diablo with the Signal Corps. Checking at the National Guard headquarters, they find that the troop is at that moment in communications with headquarters by means of reflected sun rays, the heliograph. Explaining their mission to the officer in charge, a strange message begins to flash toward Mount Diablo.
Say, Captain Bruce, here comes a message from headquarters for you.
Yeah, so it is. Let's both put our glasses on.
Captain Bruce, urgent, private, Theodore. Yeah, it's about me. With murder. No, it isn't true.
Arrest and hold for local authority.
No. They must be playing a joke on me, Captain. It's not true. It isn't true.
It's no joke, Durant. Those code signals at the end meant official orders.
Oh, I'm innocent, Captain.
That's not for me to decide. Private Durant, I place you under arrest.
Ted Durant was turned over to the local authorities. But there was a weakness in the state's case against him. His denial of guilt was steadfast. No bloody clothing had been found, and there were no eyewitnesses. A confession was needed. Realizing that Theodore Durant possessed a triple personality, his virile association with the National Guard, his curious interest in the workings of the human body as evidenced by his choice of profession, and his moral attitude toward life gained through his religious training, Captain Clark placed him in solitary confinement, hoping the conflict of these personalities might cause him to break down.
It's so dark. So still in here.
Buck up, soldier. You're not afraid. Never have regrets. You're a man. You have a perfect right to do anything you want.
Yes. Yes, I am a man. Just like anyone else.
Yes, you are a man. But what is the mystery about it all? You know all about people, how they are, what they do.
That's true. I do know. But I'm only human.
Don't you remember the command? Thou shalt not kill.
Yes, I do. Forgive me. Forgive me.
Well, what's so wrong about killing? A soldier protects himself at all times.
Yes, it's true. And if she told, my reputation would have been ruined.
Doctors know about psychology. You were almost a doctor. Why didn't you use psychology?
I could have. That's right. I could have.
She trusted you. She believed everything you taught her in Sunday school. She believed.
I believed what I said, too. Don't you see? I didn't know what I was doing.
You knew what you were doing. But it's all right. Everything is fair in love and war.
Everything is fair in love or war. Fair in war, fair in love.
Too emotional. Pull yourself together. Remember your training. You're not a bundle of nerves, but a cold-blooded machine. Definite. Precise.
Cold-blooded machine. I am a cold-blooded machine. I will be definite. Precise. Definite. Precise. A cold machine.
And on the third day, the stone was rolled away from the mouth of the sepulchre, and our Savior arose from the grave.
No, don't talk like that.
The resurrection. He died to cleanse us of our sins. There may be forgiveness.
Please forgive me. Forgive me.
Shall have everlasting life.
Ted,
It's I, Blanche Lamont.
No, no, Blanche, no.
Confess. Tell them that you betrayed
No,
me.
go away.
Tell them you killed me. Tell them. Tell them.
Please go away, Blanche. Go away.
And I'm here too, Harry and William.
No.
Confess. Confess.
Marion, Blanche, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
You walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Clear your soul. Confess.
No,
Confess.
no, no, I
You
just...
killed me because I was your friend and I knew.
Oh, Blanche.
Confess.
Marion. No.
I'll trust no one than
No.
she who lays down her life for a friend.
No.
Please,
No, stop it! Stop it, I tell you! Taylor! Taylor, let me out of here! Let me out of here! I confess! I confess! I confess!
In just a moment, we will present the concluding facts regarding tonight's story. Friends, I want each one of you who haven't gotten around to it to visit the red and white Rio Grande station in your neighborhood, where you'll see the new posters proclaiming the new cracked gasoline with increased power. Treat your car to a tank full of this new all-purpose Rio Grande cracked. When you experience the vast benefits of this amazing fuel, expertly combining twice as many vital ingredients as found in ordinary gasolines, then you'll know greater smoothness of operation, longer mileage, speed and power than you've ever known before. It's more than ever first in public service and preferred by those who know the most and use the most gasoline. Durand did not follow through with his desire to confess and take his punishment, but regained his composure and denied his guilt to the last. He was found guilty, however, and his sentence confirmed by the Supreme Court. His case proves again that crime cannot pay.
San Francisco Sheriff's Office calling all cars, attention all cars, to cancellation of broadcast 286 regarding missing person. Suspect in this case was hanged. That's all. Rose and Quizzen.
Narrator Frederick Lindsley, bidding you good night for Rio Grande.
Next week at this time, Rio Grande will present the case of the blood-stained car. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont. Within a glass-enclosed case in the British Museum is an ordinary-looking object, small and round. 30 centuries ago, an Egyptian youth squeezed some papyrus and grass into a hard spherical mass, wrapped 2 strips of leather around it, and sewed them together to make the first ball. And down in the mud flats of the sluggish River Nile, that Egyptian boy unwittingly laid the foundation for an American game which would bring enjoyment and the ideals of sportsmanship to generations of men, women, and children. A game whose centenary we celebrate this spring, the 100th birthday of our national sport, baseball. As an overture, Don Voorhees and the DuPont Cavalcade Orchestra salute the great national to the ball game. Story of baseball in the Cavalcade of America.
A sunny spring day 100 years ago in Cooperstown, New York, a half dozen young men in their late teens, sporting gaily ribboned straw boaters and peg-top trousers, were standing on a level grassy field near the Cooperstown grade school. The oldest, Abner Doubleday, picks up a stick from the ground.
This field's about the right size. It's big enough for town ball or 4-0 cats. Let's get the boys together for a game, huh? All right, yeah. No, wait a minute, boys. I've got an idea for a new game. Oh, is that why you brought us out here, Abner? Yes. I've been thinking about it for a long time. I'm going to measure off a square right here. Now, like this. Now, we'll call this home base.
Abner, what is this game of yours?
It's like town ball, only there aren't as many rules and you don't need a crowd of players. Just 11 men to a side. First team to score 21 aces wins. What do you call it? Baseball. Not a whole lot different from town ball, is it? Well, it could be. What's the most important thing in any game? Strategy. And if we can get rid of some of the rules we have to play by now, like soaking the base runner by throwing the ball at him.
Best way to put a man out, though.
Maybe. But a lot of boys get hurt that way. Listen, if we're going to have a game, let's put some safety and intelligence in it. And let's make it strategic. Make the offensive and defensive elements equal. Lengthen the bases. Allow the team at bat only 3 outs. Sounds a lot better than town ball. Well, I think so. Come on, let's have a game.
So 100 years ago, out of 4-0 cat and town ball, baseball was born. When Abner Doubleday was admitted to West Point, he took his idea of baseball with him. He became Captain Doubleday. And there was a baseball in his knapsack when he sighted the first gun in the bombardment of Fort Sumter, almost a quarter of a century later. And during the war between the states, baseball was one bond which brought the Confederate gray close to the Union blue. For during the long summer days in the Union prison camps on the Potomac...
We're all ready, Yankees. But we're signed a couple of players since Randolph and Jackson were released. Reckon we could borrow a bowler and a fielder from you all? Why, sure, Johnny. Take your pick. Your turn to bat first today, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And our turn to choose the umpire, too.
Now, we'll choose Gardner again, because he's wounded and can't play anyway. How about it, Gardner?
It's all right with me. He's a northerner.
Now, what of it? He did a right fine job of umpiring yesterday for y'all. Anyway, the war's one thing and baseball's another. Let's go. All right. Play ball.
When Lee surrendered to Grant in Appomattox Courthouse, it was a signal for thousands of soldiers to turn back to their homes, to the new frontier of the West, down to the warm South, and back north to the shops and mills of New England. And to their hometowns, they took a game, by now America's own, spreading it wide over the land, making it truly national. In every town square, groups of boys learned to hit a ball and catch it, learned to get their weight behind a pitch. They formed their own clubs.
In Washington, the Nationals.
In Columbus, the Capitol.
In Cincinnati, the Buckeyes.
In Indianapolis, the Western.
In St. Louis, the Empires. In Chicago, the Excelsior.
In Rockford, the Forest Cities.
In Brooklyn, the Atlantic.
In New York, the Knickerbockers.
All over the country, the teams sprang up and formed leagues. By 1867, there were 237 clubs in the National Association of Baseball Players. And by the 70s, men had begun to earn their living by playing baseball. But together with disorganized professionalism came baseball's worst enemy, as unprincipled men began to wonder if there were not some way to turn a boys' game into a means of crooked gambling. One summer afternoon, under the bleachers in Louisville, Kentucky, two men stand talking to each other in urgent undertones, furtively watching passers-by.
Did you get to him? Sure. There's a cinch. How about the pitcher? He's a lecture. He's in it. Good. I'll telegraph Jed to bet all he's got. We should clean up big money on this.
But it was only a week later when the management of the Louisville baseball team summoned 4 players to a reckoning.
All right, you men. We have sure information that you were involved in deliberately throwing the game to the Red Stockings last week. Now, have you anything to say before I present our evidence?
Well, sir, I only say we must have some enemies. I sure would never do a thing like that.
Is that all you got to say? Well, then take a look at these copies of the telegrams. Name you 4 as having cheated and conspired with crooks and gamblers. Pretty clear evidence. You 4 men can consider yourselves expelled from organized baseball forever.
The courage of the Louisville baseball team's management dealt the first death blow to gambling and cheating in organized baseball. For these leaders of the game were joined by others who refused to see baseball degraded and corrupted. And so one day after the close of the 1876 season, to the president of every professional baseball club went a letter.
You are requested to attend a meeting of the officials of the National Association of Professional Baseball Players to be held in room 807 of the Grand Central Hotel in New York on the evening of Tuesday next. Signed, William A. Hulbert, President of the Chicago Baseball Club.
That Tuesday night, 7 perplexed presidents of baseball clubs filed into William Hulbert's suite in the Grand Central, watched with growing curiosity as William Hulbert took out his key, locked his door, slipped the key into his pocket, and turned to face them.
Gentlemen, you need have no fear. I took the precaution of locking my door simply because I want none of you to leave until I've finished, and I want nobody to disturb us. I hope that meets with your approval. What's on your mind, Bill? I'll tell you. That's why you're here. We've got to do something about this gambling and arranging in advance which team is going to win in a baseball game. It's wrecking the game, and we all know it. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. We're not running a Sunday school picnic. That's pretty obvious. Listen, I don't think I'm talking too much like a Sunday school teacher either when I say that baseball ought to teach youth all that's best. Like what? Strength of character, sportsmanship, I suppose. Baseball's a man's business. We don't exactly feel comfortable wearing halos. You're a great bunch.
Well, all right, boys. Don't forget, I've got the key. And that door's going to stay locked until we make up our minds to rid baseball of organized scoundrelism. Baseball's a game that's going to keep the spirit of America young. And that means clean. And I'm telling you exactly how we'll do it. Form a strong National League of Baseball clubs. Think it over, boys.
That night, in a locked room of the Grand Central Hotel in New York, the National League was born. And through the next 3 decades, it grew and prospered. There appeared in the American world of sport great teams and great names.
Pop Anson, first of the mighty sluggers. King Kelly. Slide.
Buck Ewing, greatest catcher of all time.
Wee Willie Keeler. Hit 'em where they ain't.
And Thomas Wagner, the slugging pirate. Three-fingered Mordecai Brown, pitcher of the Chicago Cubs.
Frank Tant, the fearless leader. Taker to Evers to chance.
Then, as the century turned, another great league, the American League, was formed. New names appeared, new stars to stud the baseball firmament.
Chief Bender of the Philadelphia Athletics. Napoleon Latchway, star of the Keystone Sack.
Eddie Collins, spark plug of the $1 million infield.
The great Cornelius McGillicuddy. Connie Mack.
And the immortal Big Six, the best-loved player of them all, Christy Matheson, a husky, powerful right-hander. Christy was bought for the New York Giants by shrewd John J. McGraw, who guided him carefully to the heights, while Christy's kindness and sportsmanship won friends all over the country. In 1906, he stood astride the summit of the baseball world, when for 3 World Series games, he held the powerful Philadelphia Athletics scoreless. But that winter, he sickened with pneumonia and lay near death. Then one day, the inconsolable McGraw, more Christie's friend than his manager, dropped in on his daily visit to the big pitcher's bedside.
Hello, Christy. Are they coming, kid?
Right down the middle, John. Hey, what's the trouble with you? You look terrible.
Oh, me? Why, I'm feeling swell.
You can't kid me, John. You've been talking to the doc. What'd he say?
Oh, nothing much, Christy. You know those sawbones, they're all alike.
What did he say, John?
Oh, something about a layoff or rest. You know, just for a couple of years.
Couple of years? Why, he's loco. Why, Say, John, you don't think...
Christy, you're pretty weak, kid. They don't think you'll... Well, they say you'll never be able to pitch again.
John, how many games would you like me to win?
Oh, that's all right, Christy.
How many, John?
All right, kid. All right. How about 20?
I'll get you more than 20 before I'm through, John.
Christy Matheson showed what training and clean living mean to an athlete. That winter he regained his health, but although he never could again throw his famous speedball with his old team, he worked long hours perfecting his delivery. And when in the season of 1908 he won not only 20 but 37 games, the sports writers raved about his new delivery. They gave it a name, the fadeaway. Baseball will always honor the memory of Christy Matheson. But baseball meant more to the nation than a parade of colorful names and events. It stirred the humor and the hearts of the people. Indeed, Abner Doubleday's game had become a firmly established tradition, with DeWolf Hopper, a great American actor, reciting its literature.
Oh, somewhere in this favored land, the sun is shining bright, and somewhere bands are playing, and somewhere hearts are light, and somewhere men are laughing, and somewhere children shout. But there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out.
As the years passed, baseball expressions became part of the common language of the American people.
Hey, he's a lefty. He even writes southpaw.
You know, I can't even get to first base with this math problem. What a screwball that guy is.
No, sir. You're way off base on that one.
I didn't have a chance. I had 2 strikes on me before I started. Let me tell you, he's got plenty on the ball.
He wasn't fooling me with all that talk. I know what's on his mind. I can see the curves coming.
Baseball, the national game with its own language and literature, and a whole nation singing its song. All over the country, then as now, baseball was more than the game of famous stars. It was a game that belonged to American boys. Boys like the youngster who 30 years ago was learning the game in Baltimore under the eye of a Catholic priest in a parochial school for orphans.
Mike, catch for me, will you? I want to throw some up to George.
Sure, Father.
All right, George. Now try this one.
Oh, boy, how'd you like that one?
Not so good.
Not so good. It went over the fence.
Oh, did it? I was watching your feet. Pulled your right foot away again. All right, George, now try this one.
Well, what a strike. Missed by a mile.
Gee, Father, I kept my eye on the ball all the time.
George, you'll have to remember not to step away from the ball. You can crack those low outside pitches into the Chesapeake, if you remember that. You don't want to give a pitcher the chance to think to himself, I know this man's weakness. Low and outside to fan George Herman Root.
George Herman Ruth learned his lesson well and started up the road that led to national idolization in the world of sport. From the Baltimore Orioles, he went on to earn his spikes in the big time with the Boston Red Sox, to join the New York Yankees, to blast baseballs out of dozens of parks, and establish a home run record never equaled, to thrill millions as the home run king, the Sultan of Swat, the Bambino, and the Babe. In boxing, it was Jack Dempsey. In golf, it was Bobby Jones. In football, it was Red Grange. And the most glamorous figure of them all was baseball's Babe Ruth. But the most important event for Babe Ruth and for his career in baseball took place in the winter of 1922. Around a table in a private dining room of the New York Elks Club sat a score of baseball writers, their eyes on Babe Ruth and his business manager, Christy Walsh.
You fellows all know why I asked you up here. You've all been panning Babe for a year now in your columns. Babe thinks you've been picking on him unfairly. Either you're right or he is. Well, you all told me you'd say anything to his face you'd say in your column. Now's your chance to talk it over. All right? Go ahead.
Well, I think I can speak for all the boys, and I'll say it to his face if it's okay with him.
Sure. All right, let's hear it.
Okay. You're a great ball player, Babe. Your last season was terrible. It was your own fault. You lay down and quit. You never kept training. Argued with your manager. No control over your temper. Now nobody is big enough to go away with the things you're pulling. You should be a champ, Babe. You're heading towards a first-class chump.
Go on, I can take it.
Well, Babe, I want to tell you a story. When I was on my way over here tonight, a dirty-faced little kid stopped me on the street and asked me for a dime. I was a little slow reaching for it, and he must have thought I was going to turn him down. So he said real quick, "Please, mister, I gotta have a dime so I can get me a Babe Ruth cap like the other guys have." You know, Babe, those little kids all over the country, they think you're the greatest guy in the world.
Yeah. I'm no goody-goody boy and no sap. You fellas all know that. I'm going to straighten out. That's a promise you can put down for keeps.
Babe Ruth kept his promise. and his name became a legend, fresh in the memories of all who ever saw him play. But even mighty Babe Ruth and the rest of the famous Yankee murderers' row were not enough to stop a team that swept all before it just 10 years ago. The third of the great Philadelphia nine, Connie Mack's third set of champions. George Wahlberg, Mickey Cochran, Jimmy Fox, and Lefty Grove. For 3 straight years, the lean old man, almost as old as baseball itself, squinted his eyes and made cabalistic marks on his scorecard, watching his athletics march to world championships. By 1932, Philadelphia fans were watching nothing but victories. So grizzled old Connie Mack called the sports writers into his office to make a strange announcement.
Come in, boys.
Thank you.
Come on in. Try to find some chairs.
All right, thanks very much.
Okay.
Well, what do you got up your sleeve, Connie? Getting tired of winning? Decided to run a stable of wrestlers as a sideline?
Well, it's something like that, Roger. I don't think I'd ever get tired of seeing the A's win all the time, but that wouldn't help the athletics. Or baseball either. Nope. We're going to do something else. We're going to sell all our best players.
What? You're going to do what? You're going to sell all your...
Yes. Mickey goes to Detroit, Fox and Grove to Boston, and so on. I did it before with $1 million infield for baseball. So we're breaking up the A's again, boys.
Connie.
Yes?
Well, what's this going to mean to you? You going to retire?
What? Me retire? Why, say, son, I'm only 66. I got a long way to go yet. I've still got to get another World Series. Long about 1942.
With the athletics voluntarily broken up, another team took the spotlight. The New York Yankees with its murderers' row. At first it was Earl Combs, Tony Lazzari, Babe Ruth, and Lou Gehrig. Then for the last 2 years, it was Joe DiMaggio, Bill Dickey, Gehrig, and Frank Crosetti. But always it was the Yankees, a powerhouse that would not be denied. Sweeping to 6 league pennants in 8 years, and then last fall, completed for the first time in baseball's 100 years, a string of 3 consecutive World Series championships. Today, the Yankees are called the greatest team that was ever assembled in baseball. But up in Cooperstown, New York, there's a team playing in spirit who day in and day out could spot the Yankees a score of runs and blast them off the diamond. They're playing there only in spirit, those men, but they're the greatest the game has ever known, memorialized forever in bust and plaque of bronze.
Hans Wagner, infielder. Walter Johnson, pitcher. Napoleon Lajoie, infielder. Tris Speaker, outfielder. Cy Young, pitcher. Grover Cleveland Alexander, pitcher. Eddie Collins, infielder. Christy Mathewson, pitcher. Babe Ruth, outfielder.
Baseball's immortal, the all-time All-American playing in spirit today on the field where 100 years ago this month, a young man named Abner Doubleday scratched out with a pointed stick a baseball diamond. And this week, up and down the United States, millions of young Americans on 1,000 sandlots and in 1,000 streets, as well as on the carefully groomed diamonds of the big leagues, are inspired by these heroes. And their muscles are tense and their hearts miss a beat as they watch speeding toward them the little white ball, as they nervously wave their bats over their shoulders. The Cavalcade of America salutes the spirit of clean play and the ideals of sportsmanship, so characteristic of America in our national game, baseball. And now here's Basil Rysdale speaking for the DuPont Company and bringing us another story from the wonder world of chemistry.
Here's a notice that ought to be run on the lost and found column. Lost 7 million tons of nitrogen. Yes, that's the estimated net loss of nitrogen from United States farm soil last year. What of it? Well, without available nitrogen in the soil, plant and animal life would cease to exist. For plant growth is absolutely dependent upon nitrogen as well as other elements. Agricultural experts estimate that harvested crops, grazing in the forces of nature, take out of our farm soil as much as 23 million tons of nitrogen every year. Only a little more than 16 million tons are put back in the form of fertilizers and by nature. So that leaves the 7 million ton loss. Fortunately, there's a lot of free nitrogen in the air, but it has to be fixed, or in other words, changed to another usable form before it can be put back into the soil. Mother Nature does this with lightning, forming nitrous and nitric acids which enter the soil with the rain. Bacteria found in the soil and in the roots of certain plants, such as beans, clover, and alfalfa, also turn air nitrogen into fixed nitrogen. About 40 years ago, chemists realized that nature wasn't doing this job fast enough to meet the needs of agriculture. So they set out to search for a method of making nitrogen fertilizers out of the very air we breathe. They learned how to do it in the laboratory. But when they had to develop a commercial process to produce fixed nitrogen in large quantities and do it at low cost. Today, this is being done right here in America by several leading chemical companies, of which DuPont is one. For example, in the DuPont plants at Bell, West Virginia, the fixation of nitrogen sets one of the most amazing scenes in the world of chemistry, where men perform their wonders by using pressures as high as 15,000 pounds per square inch. By a complicated process, chemists turn out a wide range of important chemical products, using three of the simplest raw materials you could possibly imagine: air, water, and coal. And the particular product they create to protect American soil against nitrogen starvation is a white, crystalline, odorless material looking very much like granulated sugar. In the form of Uramon fertilizer compound and urea ammonia liquor, it provides quickly complete available nitrogen for every type of agriculture, from an orange grove to a potato patch. So you see, that lost and found column can now carry another notice. Found. Plenty of nitrogen. And American chemists stand ready to supply it to American farmers. Better use of the soil means bigger yields of better crops at less cost. Thus, in the story of fixed nitrogen, we see another illustration of the DuPont pledge: better things for better living through chemistry.
Next week, the Cavalcade of America salutes the opening of the New York World's Fair 1939 and the 150th anniversary of George Washington's inauguration with a little-known story of Washington refusing the crown. Remember that next week, over some of these stations, our program will be heard on Daylight Saving Time. This is Thomas Chalmers saying good night and best wishes from DuPont.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. The American West. Once it could have been the British, Spanish, or even the Russian West. It became American primarily because of the explorations of two young Army officers, Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. Their pioneering journey stands as one of the great achievements in the history of the United States.
Governor! Oui? Serve each man a small flour cake with his meat.
Yes, Captain Clark.
Cake? What is this, Billy? A special occasion? Did you find the headwaters of the Columbia just over the hill?
Not exactly, Meriwether. It happens to be August 1st, 1805. 35 years ago, I was born.
I'd forgotten. Congratulations. Many happy returns of the day.
18 days, it'll be your birthday.
I hope we'll have horses by then, because in 18 days we'll run out of river.
Sacagawea, why do your people keep on hiding from us?
The rifle makes the death noise. No matter who fires it, friend or enemy, it sends my people into flight.
We can't do without the hunting parties, not unless we want to starve.
As soon as my ankle is better, I'm going looking for Shoshones.
How about me doing that today?
I thought you had a sick stomach.
It's as easy to be sick hunting Shoshones as it is poling a boat upriver.
Maybe easier. Why not take Sergeant Gass with you? He hurt his back, can't use a pole, but he can walk.
All right. Gass and George Drouillard. He's better at sign language than any of us in case we meet the Shoshone.
May I go, Captain Lewis?
You, Charbonneau?
My uncle will not stand the tow rope or the pushing pole, but I can walk.
Horizons West, the continued story of the Lewis and Clark expedition. Now with Harry Bartell as Meriwether Lewis and John Anderson as William Clark, listen to Chapter 6, Shoshone Country. Although the summer sun burned down upon the toiling men of the Lewis and Clark Corps of Discovery on August 1st, 1805, winter weather was only a month away in the high country they traveled. Today, that country is part of the state of Idaho. Officers and men knew they had to have Shoshone horses and guides once they left the natural track of the river. Finding these Indians was now a matter of life and death, and it drove 4 men into the rugged wilderness. Meriwether Lewis with an ailing stomach, Sergeant Patrick Gass with a sprained back, Toussaint Charbonneau with a bad leg, and Georges Drouillard, reasonably sound and healthy.
"45 miles in the last 2 days, by my calculations.
Oh, mon Dieu, that is too far for a cripple. Oh, no wonder my leg hurts.
All hurt if we don't find Indians soon."
Captain Lewis.
Yes, Sergeant.
My back, sir. I'm sorry. I can't go no further.
You look tired yourself, Captain. Why we don't rest here?
Have to keep on. Stop, we'll never start again.
Oh, my leg. The ankle, it went out from under me.
Don't move. Rest it.
I'd better rest, too. My back is killing me.
Gass, can you and Charbonneau find your way to the river?
After we rest, yes, sir.
Boat shouldn't be far behind. They'll pick you up. George, let's keep moving.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you can sense that the Indians are near, hiding behind the trees, watching from behind bushes and rocks.
Why they do not stop running long enough to find out what our intentions are.
Sacagawea keeps saying they're afraid. They don't care about our intentions. They just want to stay away from us.
No, that is too bad.
George!
Now. Oh, my back.
Stay still. Let me see if you have any broken bones. The shoulder's all right. Ribs are sound.
I've spent half my life in the wilderness. You'd think I would have enough sense by now to watch where I put my feet, would you not?
Just take it easy. You'll feel better in a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
Instead of easing, the pain grew worse. There was only one thing to do: rejoin the main party. It took 2 hours of fighting our way through thorns, briars, and prickly pear before we reached the river and found Billy Clark and the men in camp. With them were Charbonneau and Gass.
Didn't expect to see you two so soon.
George had a bad fall. He wrenched his back.
I'll sit by the fire, George. Little heat ought to ease the pain.
Thank you, Captain.
You all right, Meriwether?
A little tired.
Any Indians?
Not a sign.
I was hoping you'd have better luck. We've had a miserable time of it. Current's very fast. Only way we've been able to move is with double-manned tow ropes, oars, and poles.
We must have passed ahead of navigation some miles ago.
If
we had horses, I'd just as soon never look at this river again.
Horses.
We did see a Shoshone footprint yesterday.
Where?
20 miles downriver. Sergeant Ordway followed tracks to a campsite only a mile away, but no Indians. Meriwether, I think it's plain we're not going to meet any Shoshones. Not unless we corner them.
A few more days pass during which we confined ourselves to the battle with the narrowing river. Reconnoitering ahead of the main party, George Druyard, his back much improved, and I, came to a fork in the river. After we determined that the left fork was the correct route, we left a marker for Billy Clark on a stick driven into the bank. And then the two of us moved on toward the other fork, following a recent Indian trail.
Captain Clark.
What is it, Sergeant Gaz?
What river do I take, sir?
Any markers?
No markers, sir.
Well, then keep right.
Yes, sir.
Soon I could see that the fork we followed was dwindling into some sort of backcountry creek. We managed several miles by dint of towing, poling, and rowing. Then up ahead, Meriwether Lewis and George Druyard appeared from the brush and began waving at us. Look sharp. Captain Lewis and Druyard ahead. Put in the shore, Sergeant Gass. We'll camp here for the night.
Yes, sir. Where's that? Right rudder.
Meriwether waved and yelled, but I couldn't make out what he wanted. When he realized we were heading for shore, he lapsed into silence and calmly waited for us. As soon as my boat touched the bank, I leaped out.
Bill, you came up the wrong river.
Wrong river. I saw no markers. That meant hold my course.
But there was a marker. George left one.
Yes, sir. On a willow stick jammed in the bank where you couldn't miss it, sir.
Oh, I saw nothing. Neither did Sergeant Gass.
Captain Luis, may I go back and find out what happened?
Go ahead. No real harm done, I guess. We can turn back in the morning and take the correct fork.
Captain Clark, Captain Lewis, look. The shining mountains.
They're beautiful.
The saddle-shaped pass. Do you see it?
Oh, yes. It's to the right of you, Billy.
My people use it to journey to the western slope. It is called the Lemhi.
You mean the slopes that go on down to the Pacific?
That is what the wise men say. To the salt sea.
Well, then it's the Continental Divide. If it was a month earlier, we might be able to go through on foot without horses.
Soon the snows will fall deep in the Lemhi.
About the time the cooks were preparing our supper, George Druyard returned.
Captain Luis.
What did you find out, George?
Well, never fasten a marker to a green, freshly cut willow stick. That is a beaver food.
You mean to say that a beaver ate the marker?
Yes, sir. The paper was lying in the mud. All around there was beaver tracks, and there was teeth marks in what was left of the stick.
The trip back to the Forks produced a double accident. One of the boats capsized in the tricky, swirling current, dumping its cargo into the water. Trying to right the boat, Private Joe Whitehouse slipped on the rocks and incurred painful injuries. We spent an entire day recovering and drying out the spilled cargo, and I treated the contusions and sprains of Private Whitehouse. Finally, we turned upriver in the right direction, and it was back to the ropes and poles. For 2 days, high winds blew water at us, keeping us thoroughly drenched. On the night of August 8th, when we made camp, I could literally feel the discouragement of the men.
Sergeant Gass!
Yes, Captain Clark?
How are the men?
They're worn out, sir.
Are they still with us?
Well, sir, I guess they feel the way I do, most of them, anyhow. You got us this far. You'll get us the rest of the way.
I hope so.
In the morning, I'm going out to find Indians. I'll take Druyard, Shields, and McNeil. Tell them to get ready.
Yes, sir.
Tell them we'll stay out indefinitely. We're not coming back until we find Shoshones.
Look out! Ned!
Watch it, McNeil. Thank you, George. That could have been trouble. It looks to me like about 10 miles of grassland ahead before we reach the hills. We'll spread out. If you men pick up a trail, I want my attention. Put your hat on the muzzle of your rifle and hold it high.
Yes, sir.
The grass was almost as high as our heads, a paradise for cattle. We moved ahead for about 15 minutes, and then I spotted a horseman directly ahead of me, perhaps 2 miles distant. I examined him through my telescope. He answered Sacagawea's description of a Shoshone warrior, and he rode an elegant horse. He didn't see us at first, for at most only our heads showed above the sea of grass. I concentrated on moving closer and closer to him, and a look to either side showed me that Druyard, Shields, and McNeil were doing the same. And then the warrior saw us, one by one, by the way his head jerked apprehensively from right to left. I signaled the men. Druyard responded by halting, but the other two plowed on. The Indian sat his horse like an equestrian statue. I moved on. And then 50 yards from him, I cried out the only 2 Shoshone words I knew, the words for white man. Tababone! 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 Druyard had caught the thought and was helpfully echoing me. I put down my rifle, lifted my blanket, and spread it on the ground 3 times in the traditional Plains Indian gesture of friendship. It had little or no effect because Shields and McNeil emerged from the tall grass and moved stolidly and steadily toward the Indian. Shields! McNeil! Halt! Halt! They kept on as if they had heard nothing. Suddenly, the warrior wheeled his horse and galloped away. I was filled with anger. I ran ahead, Druyard angling along with me, to where the other 2 men finally stopped.
Sorry, sir. He ran away.
What did you expect? Why did you ignore the order to halt?
Well, I don't know, except I thought I could grab the bridle of his horse.
Shields, when I want you to use your own initiative, I'll tell you. That Indian might still be here if you and McNeil had obeyed orders. Now get over there and bring me my rifle.
Yes, sir.
Wait. No use my taking out my disappointment on you. After you get my rifle, we're going to that hill over there. We're going to build a big fire and eat breakfast where people for miles around can locate us. No invading war party would ever do that.
Captain, do you want me to go out and shoot something for the pot?
No shooting. That'll alarm all Shoshones within earshot.
Ah, yes, you are right.
I brought some pemmican. We'll heat it.
Yes, sir. I start the fire.
After we ate, we went back to where we had encountered the Shoshone warrior. His trail was easy to follow. We stayed on it for about a mile, and then big drops of rain splattered against my cheek.
Hey, it's really coming down.
Take shelter under that tree.
And McNeil, over here.
We huddled in the circle of comparative dry provided by the tree. After about an hour, the rain slackened and stopped. We went back to the trail, only to find it had been completely obliterated by the rain.
It looked like the weather is on their side.
All right, one warrior got away. It only means that we start over. I want you to spread out, within hailing distance. Look for more signs. After several hours, I picked up what seemed to be a frequently used trail. I called in the men, and we moved ahead in a group. The trail became a footpath as it led in a series of turns downhill. And suddenly we came upon 3 Shoshone squaws. The youngest ran, but the other 2 apparently resigned themselves to death. They sat down, lowering their heads submissively.
Tababone. Tababone.
The 2 women betrayed no emotion as George repeated the Shoshone words. I took the older woman's hand and put a string of beads into it. She raised her eyes and smiled in a sort of vast relief. We bestowed more baubles upon them, giving each, in addition, a pewter mirror and a pot of vermilion. George, talk to them in sign language. Tell them we want to go to their village.
All right, I try, sir.
As Druyar made his signs, the youngest woman returned. We gave her gifts while Druyar seemed to make the two older ones understand that we came as friends and wished to parley with the chief. At last, the eldest woman rose, motioned for us to follow, and started down the footpath. Soon the path lost itself in a clearing, and ahead was a large Shoshone village. The entire village displayed excitement at our arrival. Aping the gestures of Druyar, we made the sign of peace over and over. Presently, we were before a medium-sized man who had the look of authority about him. George Druyar spoke to him in signs, and the chief gravely replied. The entire exchange had a kind of rhythmic style about it, and more to the point, it brought results. The chief, named Cavalcade, and his aides greeted us by pressing their greasy painted faces against ours. Soon we were streaked with their paint, but the important thing was that we had established a friendly relationship with them. I felt a considerable relief as we were led to a lodge to rest.
I've had enough of this hugging and mugging, unless they want to introduce me to some of the younger women.
You just think that you've had enough, Shields. If you want to stay out of trouble, leave the women alone.
Yes, sir.
George, I was relieved when the chief understood.
Almost always you can put across the main ideas with signs. Where you miss sometimes is with the little things.
Shadings. Well, we'll depend on Sacagawea for that.
The chief say there will be a pipe smoking in about an hour. I ought to know what to ask for after you give him the gifts.
Tell him there's another big chief with us at the river with the boats. We'll need horses to move the baggage from there to here. When we're all assembled, we'll have a big powwow and establish trade relations between our two nations.
I guess there's a meal connected with this, Captain. I saw some squaws at the cooking pot.
I hope so. I'm hungry.
Me too.
The meal was some sort of local root vegetable boiled, a single scant helping per person. We ate it and looked about.
That was a meal?
The Shoshone seem to think so.
Game is hard to find at this altitude this time of year.
I've seen only a pair of old muskets among the braves. They must depend on bows and arrows.
The ritual began. Part of the ceremony was the pulling off of moccasins, a meaningful act in this country of the prickly pear. A shoeless man was completely at the mercy of a man with something on his feet. Then we passed the pipe, each taking a couple of puffs. With McNeil and Shields as assistants, I handed out gifts, including medallions and flags for the chief and his aides. They were pleased and seemed well disposed to watch George as he went through a series of signs and gestures. Then he sat down, and we watched the chief.
I was very eloquent. The chief is agreeable to it all.
Then a younger man jumped up frowning and went into an angry, jerky series of gestures.
Trouble, Captain.
So I gather.
He is saying it is all a trick to enslave the chief. There is an ambush at the river.
Straighten him out, George.
Yes, I try.
George's signs were so vivid and expressive that the rest of us caught the full meaning. The suspicious warrior was mistaken. There was no ambush. Would Chief Cavalcade and his aides be courageous enough to come and find out? Or were they fit only to stay home with the old women? Glowering indignantly, Cavalcade made reply. His personal courage was beyond question. He would go with us, and the best Shoshone horses would also go to carry our party and our baggage. Nothing would stop him from meeting with the other big chief of the Palefaces.
There is food for the Shoshones. A real treat. 120 pounds of venison if it is an ounce.
I should have reserved some of it for us instead of promising it all to Cavalcade.
I remember with the next one, sir.
If there is a next one. We watched the Shoshones. It was plain from the way they fell upon the deer that their diet had been skimpy from necessity, not choice. They tore at the flesh, broke the bones, ate the meat raw on the spot.
Turns my stomach to watch him.
It's not exactly Tidewater Society manners.
Hunger is seldom a pretty sight.
We set out for the river, filled stomachs, putting the Indians in a much more amiable mood. When we arrived, 2 hours ahead of the main party, the Indians soon became restive. I tried my hand at calming them, and so did George Drouillard. And then, to my great relief, I heard the boats. Soon our men appeared with Billy, Charbonneau, and Sacagawea leading the way.
Meriwether, you did it. You found them.
Shoshone, my people.
Oh, Jill, such fine horses.
Come me away. Come me away.
Sobbing with joy, Sacagawea rushed forward and threw herself at the Shoshone chief. Momentarily, he was surprised, even indignant, until he recognized her. Then he held her tight and made joyous sounds and stroked her hair.
Hey, Charbonneau, they're glad to see each other, aren't they? Maybe that's her first husband, huh?
No, I am her only husband.
Looks to me like she's ready to make a trade, Charbonneau.
If you did not wear stripes, I would tear off your arms and hold you down the hill like a rubber ball.
That's enough, guys. That's enough. Let him alone.
Yes, sir.
Captain Clark, Captain Louis, thank you. I am happy. This is my brother, my beloved brother. At the village lives also my sister.
Oh, that can't be. That only happens in storybooks.
You see, little fat sergeant, I am the only husband.
At first, it seemed like a family gathering. Sacagawea, the sister of the chief. White robes were spread for me and Meriwether to sit on during the trading and the bargaining. Opposite us sat Cameowait and several sub-chiefs. Sacagawea was beside me, ready to interpret.
Sacagawea, tell them our nation is a mighty one. Tell them that we will provide them with all the necessities on a constant basis if they trade us horses and guides for our trek through the Lemhi Pass and on toward the Western Sea.
I will do so.
Sacagawea converted Meriwether's words to Shoshone. And as she spoke, Cameowait frowned and shook his head.
He says, no guides and no horses. Horses are the only wealth of the Shoshone people.
But he has many horses. Pastured near the village is a herd of at least 400. Doesn't he want to trade some of them for weapons to fight off raiders from the plains people?
She turned back to speak at length. And this time, Cameowait was very thoughtful. His answer was a long time in coming, but it was a fair one.
My brother says, if you can provide many rifles and many bullets for him, he will give you horses and guides. He wants the rifles now.
Tell Cameowait that establishing trade between his nation and the United States of America is not easy. First, we must go to the Pacific Sea, and then go back to speak for Cameowait to Mr. Jefferson, our president. Then many authorized traders will come with rifles and many other valuables.
Sacagawea spoke once again to her brother. After a fairly long exchange, Cameowait agreed. We could have horses and guides.
Billy Clark and a detail of men took the next few days to reconnoiter the country ahead and found it very rugged. I spent the time dickering with Cameowait, with the invaluable help of Sacagawea, and getting the men ready for the difficult overland travel ahead. We'll have to make another cast, George.
Yes, sir. That much less to carry over the pass. Do you want me to tell Sergeant Pryor and Crozat?
Now, I'll do that after these curious Indians stop hanging around camp and go back to the village.
How many horses we will have, Captain?
19. But we need at least 25, and even that means some of us will always be on foot.
Well, what we will do to get the extra horses, I mean. Cameowait's got plenty of horses.
I know. All I can do is play on his desire for rifles. I'll try him again at the last minute.
Maybe Sacagawea.
Hello. Hey, there you go, my rifle.
Halt! Halt! Running fast, George caught up with the Indian. Terrified, the thief knocked the primer out of the rifle so he wouldn't get shot, dropped the weapon and raced away. George picked it up and returned to me, grumbling.
There's one thing I can say, Captain. They sure are bad off for rifles.
I hate to do it, but maybe I can use this incident when I talk again with the chief.
Captain Lewis, Sacagawea brings good news.
Some good news, Captain, and some bad. First, I talked long to my brother. He will give 29 horses.
That's fine, Sacagawea.
See? I said it was good news, huh?
Now the bad part. In the pass, we will meet Flathead Indians.
They are warlike?
No, they come to join my people. All will go to the buffalo country to hunt.
You're afraid our guides will desert and go on the hunt?
My brother expects the guides to desert. They are good hunters.
Oh, come on, we'll go get a clear understanding right now. George, you and Charbonneau scour these woods and see if you can get a couple of deer as a gift for the village.
Yes, Captain.
Come on, Charbonneau.
My irritation must have showed when we reached Kameawait's lodge in the village. Hastily, he summoned his sub-chiefs and we began to talk. Through Sacagawea, I pointed out how his niggardly attitude regarding the horses and his knowledge that the guides would desert us would certainly not increase his chances of getting firearms from my country. I insisted that he issue definite orders to the guides in the presence of Sacagawea. They were to stay with us as long as we needed them. This was done, and we returned to camp to find that Billy Clark had returned.
I hear you've had your troubles.
It's been hard trading, but the crisis is past. We have 29 horses, and the guides are pledged not to desert.
But still, you must watch them over the Lemhi.
We will.
If you will excuse me, I go to prepare for the trail.
Trail?
I assumed you would stay with your brother, your people.
First, I thought so also. Now, you are more my people. I go with you.
The next day, we started for the pass, traveling over harsh and inhospitable country, but we traveled with the heaviest burdens on the backs of horses, and guided by a Shoshone father and his 4 sons. It grew colder and more desolate, and I felt very sober as I sat before the campfire that night in the Lemhi Pass. It began to snow. Snow on the 18th day of August. Snow on my 31st birthday.
You have been listening to Horizons West, the continued story of the Lewis and Clark expedition. Chapter 6, Shoshone Country, starred Harry Bartell as Meriwether Lewis and John Anderson as William Clark. Featured in the cast were Carl Swenson, Sebastian Cabot, Helen Gerald, Bill Quinn, and Jim Bowles. Our story was written by Carl A. and William Tunberg and directed by William Lally. Sound patterns by Gene Twombly. Michael Rye speaking. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
The Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont.
been times that tried men's souls, and there have been times that rocked men's hearts and their loyalty. In an hour of crisis, one man on horseback may be hailed as great and become an Alexander, a Caesar, a Cromwell, or a Napoleon. There was a time in the history of America called the critical period when discouraged men were impatient of a new and little-tried experiment in democracy, when security seemed worth a high price, even the price of freedom itself. And tonight, we will tell you the story of a little-known event in the life of that soldier of the American Revolution called the father and savior of his country, George Washington.
As an overture, Don Voles and the DuPont Cavalcade Orchestra play Victor Herbert's Tribute to America, an arrangement of patriotic airs called American Fantasy.
The year 1781. Nearly 5 years have passed since John Hancock signed his name with a flourish to America's Declaration of Independence. But still, up and down the shores of the 13 United Colonies, swarm the scarlet-clad forces of an English king. Freedom is only an assertion, not a fact. Discontent, gloom, and despair darken the spirit of colonial America and its ragged, exhausted army. While in letters to his friends, George Washington, the father of his country, writes,
"There can be no radical cure until Congress is vested by the several states with full and ample powers to enact laws for general purposes, until the executive business is placed in the hands of able and responsible men. Our present force, which is but the remnant of an army, cannot be kept together. It may be declared, in a word, that we are at the end of our tether."
We are at the end of our tether. For 6 stubborn years, men had suffered. Men had died for the ideal of freedom. From the hour of bursting musket crackle at Concord, through the roaring cannonades of Monmouth, Saratoga, Trenton, and Stony Point, the fight had been a desperate one. And now, in 1781, Lord Cornwallis was ravaging Virginia. A red-coated Benedict Arnold was plundering New London, Connecticut, Manchester, and Richmond, Virginia. The French minister wrote his sovereign at Versailles. The colonies were weak, their Congress impotent. Then came the day when on a New Jersey hillside, a troop of ill-clad, hungry Pennsylvania soldiers line up before their commander, Anthony Wayne.
Hands, son. Hands. Orders from General Headquarters. Proceed without delay to Virginia.
All right, men. We're going to go.
Get back there, Sergeant.
Back nothing. You'll hear what I've got to say. The men have a voice in the other brigades.
Not in this one. Back into line. All of you.
Men, how are you going to march when you've no soles on your boots?
We've had enough, Sergeant.
So have we. Look at the coats we've got to wear. Those of us that got them. Who are we fighting for, anyway? That fat Congress in Philadelphia? Where's our pay? Pay for the last 7 months.
You'll get your pay. Just a moment, Captain. Yes, General Wayne. I know how you feel, men. All I can do now is sympathize. After we beat those lobster backs into the sea, the Army will settle scores. I promise you that. But now we've got a fight on our hands.
Fight with what? No arms, no provisions, no money. Well, men, are you going to march, or are you with me? Come on, speak up.
There's your answer, Sergeant. Captain, put that man under arrest.
Discouragement and suspicion were stalking the colonies, mirrored in such scenes of unrest. And distrust was flaring up among the tattered buff and blue brigades of George Washington's Continental Army. Then, during a fateful summer at the encampment of the Army above West Point, an officer of the Pennsylvania line limped into the headquarters of Colonel Louis Nicola, commander of the so-called Invalids Regiment.
Colonel Nicola, I'm reporting on the command of General Wayne.
Your papers, Captain. Thank you. I see you were wounded in the Virginia campaign.
We almost didn't go on that campaign.
Yes, I know. Insubordination, confusion. I heard about the aborted mutiny, Captain. Bad business.
Can't something be done, sir? Congress...
Who respects Congress? There's only one man the colonies trust, General Washington. One man to construct order out of stupid, tragic chaos. Captain, you're not the first to ask if something can't be done. Something will be done, and soon.
A few weeks later, the world was rocked with amazement. The determination of a stern-eyed commander-in-chief of a forlorn Continental Army in North America won a decisive victory. Lord Cornwallis surrendered at Yorktown, and the end of the American Revolution was in sight. In Britain's Parliament, Lord North throws up his hands and exclaims, "It is the end." And at Mount Vernon, the tired father of his country takes a brief rest. Then late in November, George and Martha Washington start north on a triumphal ride to Philadelphia, the capital of the newborn nation, seething with discontent, uncertainty, and fear for the future.
George, what is wrong?
Everyone thinks the war is over, Patsy. But New York is still in British hands. So is Charleston and Savannah.
It's just a matter of time, my dear. Already Congress has proposed...
Congress better stop proposing and keep promises. Now they're not going to satisfy the demands of my army, the very soldiers who earned them this victory. It'll mean trouble. Already there's a grave uneasiness afoot. I have it from Colonel Nicola and 100 sources.
Colonel Nicola?
Colonel Nicola commands the Invalids Regiment.
Oh.
He's in touch with the sentiment of the soldiers. The clamor of the army might well end in a popular revolt.
What can happen?
A strong hand is needed, Patsy. If not, well, I don't like to think of the consequences.
In Philadelphia, General Washington is hailed as the savior of his country. And except for a few minor skirmishes, the revolution is truly over. But discontent, discouragement, and distrust continue to sweep through the United States of the young republic. Washington returned to Army headquarters at Newburgh, and on a black, stormy night in the year 1782, a sentry paces up and down the wind-swept bank of the Hudson River. In a single light pouring from General Washington's office, he pauses a moment, seeing another light approaching.
Halt! Who goes there?
Officer of the guard.
Advance to be recognized.
How goes the night, sentry?
All's well, sir.
Good. I see the general's up late again.
Yes, he's a late one these nights. She stays up with him usually.
Listen.
Halt! Who goes there?
It is I, General Washington.
Aye, man, it is he.
Oh, I wouldn't have challenged you, sir, but on a night like this, I hardly expected to see.
Me out for a stroll? No, I suppose not.
Do you wish a guard, General Washington?
No, officer. I'll be on my way back in a moment. Be on with your rounds.
Very good, sir. Good night.
Good night. Entry number 2. All's well. So, all's well.
I beg pardon, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry, Sentry. I mumble strange things, probably. Forget me. But you, man, it's a wet night for you to be out in that threadbare coat. And I thought so. No shirt to your back.
I'm all right, sir.
All right, then. I'm glad to find one that is.
Oh, I think I know what you mean, sir. But I've gone through 4 years now, and I...
Thank you, Sentry. You've done me a favor. Here. Leave it at the door when your watch is over.
Your coat, sir.
All's well, Sentry. Good night.
Good night, sir.
As tension in the army, discouragement, and perplexity among the people threaten the collapse of the ideal of freedom, George Washington sits in his headquarters holding a letter in his hand. He looks up gravely as David Humphreys, his aide-de-camp, and Jonathan Trumbull, Jr., his secretary, enter.
Gentlemen, I sent for you to hear a strange communication from Colonel Nicola. It required a good deal of thought on my part last night to know how to deal with it. Before I read this to you, I want pledges from both of you that you will never breathe a word of it. I promise that?
Of course, General.
Very well. Colonel Nicola reviews what he calls the deplorable condition of the Army and the little hope of reward by Congress.
Yes, it's having its effect on the people, too, General.
Yes, but, well, Colonel Nicola goes on to say, well, I'll read it to you. It must be manifest that of all other forms of government, republics are the most unstable and least capable of securing the rights, freedom, and property of individuals. America, sir, can never prosper or become a nation under a republic. On the other hand, the English monarchy is most successful. If you consider the financial difficulties and the increasing burdens bearing heavily upon the people, this must have shown to all, and to military men in particular, the weakness of republics. Under a proper commander-in-chief, the Army has surmounted difficulties to victory and glory. Just what is Colonel Nicola suggesting? That is it. He goes on. Those qualities that have merited and obtained the universal esteem and veneration of the Army would be most likely to conduct and direct us in the smoother paths of peace. It is difficult to separate the ideas of tyranny and monarchy, but I believe strong argument might be produced for admitting to you, sir, the title of king. Signed, Louis Nicola.
King?
I have written Colonel Nicola an answer. Here is a copy, which I want you both to attest.
Very well, sir.
Very well, sir.
Months later, it's another spring, and the American Continental Army still waits on the British to evacuate New York, still waits on Congress to act on General Washington's pleas for a settlement of Army demands. One morning in March 1783, outside headquarters at Newburgh, Mistress Martha Washington is at work in a small garden plot when her husband comes out of the house and begins to stroll up and down the short gravel walk.
Look here a moment, George, at my garden.
Very, very pretty, Patsy, very pretty.
Oh, you aren't even looking. It's hardly pretty as yet, for I'm just planting the seeds.
I'm sorry, dear. I wasn't looking. It's true.
You're worried. What is it?
Hamilton warns me the Army won't disband until it's paid. The officers are insisting that the Congress of our Republic be dissolved.
Dissolved?
And that leadership be invested in a strong ruler.
Oh. Oh, I see.
It's just what I feared. A plot among the officers. Men who fought for freedom and saw many die to abolish autocracy in the colonies.
How much of their plans do you know?
None. Absolutely none, Patsy. All I know is there never was so great a spirit of discontent as at this moment. Suppose I should become king.
George, their plot is not unlike my little garden plot here.
Garden plot?
I know where the seeds are, but not the weeds that strike at the tender shoots. And so, dear, I watch very carefully and strike first.
Yes, but how can I strike first, Patsy, when I don't know
you
when?
You must strike first, George. Doesn't a good general strike first? You know what you call it, a surprise? At Trenton, everyone...
You're right, Patsy. Strike first.
George Washington had not long to wait for an opportunity. For a few days later, in March 1783, through the camp at Newburgh spreads an anonymous circular.
Soldiers, peace returns to bless whom? A country willing to redress your wrongs, cherish your worth, and reward your services? Or is it rather a representative Congress that tramples on your rights, disdains your cries and insults, your distresses? Awake! Your swords are at your side.
To all officers of the Continental Army of the United States, General Washington's compliments. He desires your attendance at the temple in Newburgh for an important and essential meeting. Signed, George Washington.
In a trice, George Washington has called a meeting of his officers and put it on an official basis. An hour later, in Newburgh's temple, General Horatio Gates, Washington's chief of staff, is in the chair.
Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
We've been here 20 minutes. Is General Washington coming?
We've had word he's on his way, sir.
That's all, Lieutenant. Gentlemen, General Washington should arrive any minute now. In the meantime, there's nothing we can do but wait.
General Gates, we want it clearly noted now and hope that you understand our position.
You needn't fear that.
Gentlemen, General Washington.
Sit down, gentlemen. I have prepared a few words to read to you. But before I begin, I'm sorry, but I hope you will permit me to put on my spectacles. You see, I have not only grown gray, but almost blind in the service of my country. I have considered my own reputation.
The officers stir uneasily in their seats. Not one has ever before seen their commander-in-chief in glasses. Not one has been aware that George Washington's eyes have dimmed with work. And many of their own eyes are dimmed before the rugged sincerity of the father of their country.
Realize the full fruition of our hopes, our prayers, and the ideal of free men in a free land. But as you know, sentiment and despair have raised a challenge to that ideal. It has been suggested that I become King of America. Colonel Lewis Nicola offers such a course in utmost and respectful sincerity. And to you, my comrades in arms, I wish to read my reply to his proposal. Sir, with a mixture of great surprise and astonishment, I have read with attention the sentiments you have submitted to my perusal. But let me conjure you, sir, that if you have any regard for your country, concern for yourself, or regard for me, to banish these thoughts from your mind and never communicate as from yourself or anyone else a sentiment of like nature. With esteem, I am, sir, your most obedient servant, George Washington.
And so it was that George Washington, by striking first, defeated a conspiracy in the high command of the American army which might have made him a king. Finally, Congress heeded his pleas on behalf of the soldiers, and the last scarlet-backed troops of the British Crown left the shores of America. The nation slowly adjusted itself to the perils and experiments of self-government as the Articles of Confederation were replaced by our great Charter of National Liberty, the Constitution. And 150 years ago yesterday, George Washington stands in a room in Federal Hall in New York City.
Time, Excellency.
I have the Bible. Will you go first, General Washington?
I want my friends to be on the balcony, too. Adams above all.
The Vice President will stand beside you, Excellency.
Good. All right, Chancellor. Have the doors open.
At once, General.
They're cheering you like a king, sir. Hamilton, no man, king or otherwise, has the right to set himself up over the destinies of a free people. Let us go, gentlemen.
I will administer the oath of office. Place your hand on the Bible, General. You repeat after me. I, George Washington, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God.
I, George Washington, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God.
Long live George Washington, President of the United States!
150 years ago, our nation acclaimed George Washington our first president rather than our first king. Had Washington's faith in democracy faltered in that hour of crisis, the father of this country might well have reversed the course of our nation's destiny of freedom and become King George of America. And now here's Basil Rysdale speaking for the DuPont Company and bringing us another story from the wonder world of chemistry.
Perhaps I don't sound any differently than I did a week ago as I sat at this microphone, but I feel a lot different. I've seen the World's Fair. I've stood beside that towering Trilon and huge perisphere and craned my neck looking up at them. I've been to the wonder world of chemistry. Yes, for the second time in my life, I know what it is to feel like a small boy at his first fair. What a place it is, that New York World's Fair. As I strolled over from the theme center to the DuPont building, along tree-lined walks, between gardens with flowers in bloom, I looked at the colorful, inspiring buildings on every side, and began to understand the story they have to tell. The story of confidence and glory of the world of tomorrow. The world of tomorrow, a dream come true before its time. And then, before me, I saw the bubbling, flashing color of a 70-foot tower, symbolizing a piece of chemical apparatus. And I knew I'd reached the wonder world of chemistry. That thrilling first glimpse was only a foretaste of the wonders I found inside. In fact, I'd no more than entered the DuPont building when I found myself gazing with astonishment at a mural, unlike any decoration I ever saw in my life. A huge mural, 30 feet high and 60 feet long, done entirely in plastics. Colorful, transparent, and with hidden lighting to bring out its rare beauty. The man who created this newest sensation in the world of art is the famous mural artist Domenico Mortalito. He says that new materials devised by chemistry present the first significant change in 4 centuries in the field of art. Well, as I attempt to describe my trip through the wonder world of chemistry, it all seems like a beautiful dream. I saw the strange beginnings of chemical products, how they're developed from such raw materials as coal, cotton, wood, vegetable oils, ores, and salt. I stood spellbound before fascinating demonstrations of dyes, perfumes, soapless soap, and the making and testing of neoprene, man-made rubber. And I rubbed my eyes twice when I saw a glass rabbit disappear in a glass hat. Every time I turned my head, my attention was caught by some new, strange sight. The molding of plastics, the spinning of rayon yarn. Yes, chemistry's miracles perform before my very eyes. And just when I began to think that I'd seen and heard everything, I found myself in a circular hall watching a marionette performance. Spaced around the hall were 5 different stages, and the amusing little puppets moved from one stage to another. They couldn't have thought of a happier way to finish up my trip through the wonder world of chemistry. I got a great kick out of my visit to the New York World's Fair, and I do hope many of our listeners will be able to see all that I saw. There's a wonder world of chemistry at the San Francisco World's Fair, too, so whether you travel east or west, you can treat yourself to the thrilling inside story of better things for better living through chemistry.
Next week, the Cavalcade of America presents the story of Juliet Lowe, who founded the Girl Scouts of America. On tonight's program, the role of George Washington was played by William Adams. Till next week, then, at the same time, this is Thomas Chalmers saying good night and best wishes from DuPont.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.